Last May at Charlotte, Tim Steele proved why he's a champion. He swept both races in impressive fashion, coming through the pack late in the contest. Tonight, he tries to make it a clean sweep.
Well, Tim Steele's had the kind of year every race driver dreams of. In his whole career prior to 1996, he had won 7 races. This year, he won 10. In addition to that, most of them in this car called Gator. What is there about you and Gator that make you so good together?
I guess it's like it's like a dog, you know. It's a car that we love. This thing, it's got a good attitude everywhere you go, and we built this thing back in '93 when we were green to this sort of stuff, and we really didn't know what we were doing. We were building it, but I guess we must have done something right, because we haven't been able to build another one to duplicate it, you know. She's getting old and tired, but it still likes to win.
Unusual situation tonight. They're going to stop the race, not stop it, but throw a caution flag midway through the race for 10 laps. How will you run a strategy in order to accommodate that, Tim?
Same way we run all the time, wide open, you know. If this car's working good, we'll be up front, and just save the car for the end of the race. You know, I think we got a car. We struggled this week a little bit, but we've got it pretty well the way we want it right now, I think. You know, it was last night in the last practice, and it should be good. You know, I got to say hi to my wife, my daughter, Brenda and Kelsey, and a good friend of the family's just died the other night of a heart attack in his sleep, and our prayers are with him. We're thinking about his family.
Tim Steele is going to start off 5th here tonight. The guy that should start on the pole, Ron Barfield, is going to have to move to the back because he had some problems in practice.
Yesterday's practice session wasn't kind to Bill Elliott's protege, Ron Barfield. He earned the pole for tonight's race in stunning fashion, but suffered a blown tire that will have him starting tonight from the rear.
And folks, this is a great story. Now this car, the New Holland car number 94, is usually blue and white. Tonight it's red because the team had to go to Bill Elliott's shop in Hickory, North Carolina, about an hour and a half from here, and get one of Bill Elliott's backup cars. Todd Bodine drove this car for Bill Elliott here in May. Ron, you start from the back, you got a lot of traffic to get past, and you get to the front.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you know, this New Holland car's been running good all weekend, and you know, after we qualified yesterday, we were out there doing a long run, and a tire come apart, and we got an outside wall, and, you know, got to hand it to the guys for working on it. They've done a fabulous job in getting us back here tonight, and, you know, in a different car here, but, you know, we're going to try to get this thing from the back and get to the front and do New Holland proud.
Hey, Ron, we'll have the in-car camera in your car tonight. What will the fans see at home? What kind of charge will you make?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, what we're going to do to start with is we're just going to kind of lay back and stay out of trouble and try to get up to the front there and as patient as we can. But, you know, we're going to try to be around there at the end of the race. That's the main thing you're going to see. And I think you're going to see a patient Ron Barfield tonight.
Well, race car drivers usually aren't patient, but we'll see with Ron Barfield tonight. Hey, let's go to our other colleague on pit road, Shauna Robinson.
All right, I'm here with Toby Butler. Toby, you're definitely a seat driver. You haven't been in the seat very long, but you definitely have shown some stuff by winning in your first ARCA race. This is only your 3rd race. You finished 4th here in May. How do you feel about tonight?
Well, you know, Timmy Kuth, Schrader Racing's crew chief, gave me a really good car here, you know, and we're surrounded by a bunch of Fords here, but, you know, we're hoping to get this AC Delco Chevrolet up front.
All right, well, how about Ken Schrader as a car owner? How's the influence there?
Well, anybody who's ever been in racing all across the country knows Ken Schrader, and he has a big heart, you know. I mean, he saw me walking down the street one day with my kids, and they didn't have any shoes on, and he felt sorry for me, and he gave me this opportunity. I just hope I can make the best of it.
All right, back to you, Ken.
Hi, everybody. Ken Squire with you here as we get ready for racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway with the Automobile Racing Club of America. Now, Ron Barfield was talking about patience. He's got 134 laps to be patient out here, and he's starting back in 41st position. So he'd better be patient quite a while as we get around this mile-and-a-half track. I'm thrilled to have with me the 2-time ARCA champion, Bill Venturini, from up around Chicago, and Ray Dunlap is back with us, who follows ARCA, Automobile Racing Club of America, throughout the year. And a lot of us are big ARCA enthusiasts because you talk about stock car groups that really get it done. Here's the one that runs the super speedways, Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, Pocono, here at Charlotte. You see these folks in action. Then you go and find them on a quarter-mile track, a third-mile track. Then they're on road courses, and from there, you see them getting onto the road racing circuits now and then. This is some group of drivers that can really get it done in any form of stock car racing.
Well, that's true, Ken. You've got quite a field there tonight. Now, we talked to a couple of the front runners on the racetrack down there. Ron Barfield's certainly shown he can do it. He won at Michigan earlier in this year, but that was in the blue car that he crashed earlier, so we'll have to see. That red car has no practice on it, and this racetrack can certainly reach out and bite you, and he's got a big field of cars to run through.
Now, it was 34 years ago that ARCA came here the last time before this year, and that was when Curtis Turner won Bill Venturini, and the last time we saw ARCA here was back on the Memorial Day weekend. Tim Steele looked like a Curtis Turner. He had him covered in both races.
Yeah, Tim definitely was a class of the field back when we were here in May. But I think this race now, he's got some good competition. Barfield, now I feel for him having to start 41st after setting a new track record. That happened to me back in '87. I did the same thing at Talladega.
And what happened?
I ended up flipping the car and wrecking it after we set a new track record there. But thanks to Dave Marcus, who at the time Helen Ray was his car owner, they gave me a backup car, and we had to start 41st. But he'll come through the field. He's got I think he's got an in-car camera that'll make it exciting for everybody, and you need to watch it.
Now, give me one word for strategy in this race. With 41 persons starting, and you're going to run 134 laps.
Well, with this mandatory pit stop at the halfway point, I should say mandatory yellow. It's not a mandatory pit stop. It's changed the strategy for everybody, including our team. You know, my son's running in this race, and we had pit strategy set up, and then all of a sudden we found out that we have to run a mandatory yellow. So it's actually changed our strategy, and I think everybody on pit road is going to look at it a little differently, because we can't run, I think it's 67 laps is halfway, and I don't think there's an ARCA team that can run 67 laps without stopping for fuel. So you're going to have to see probably 3 pit stops.
Mandatory caution, technical laps, but they are counting. They come at what time?
It'll come right about the halfway point, around lap 67. We'll see the yellow come out. And the interesting thing here, Ken, is if the caution is out before the mandatory caution, that would just extend the caution period. If we are ready to go back to green, we might see 1 or 2 green flag laps and then right back to caution again. So it's a very different format.
Rolling out the field, that's what the strategy is, and that's what the style of the race is. A little different for ARCA tonight than what we've seen before. Stay with us. We're in for some great racing. Thanks, guys. Nice work.
Do you have where's the lineup? No, that ain't it. Where's the lineup?
Is she doing a lap chart on this one?
Okay. Can I just look at that for 1 second?
No.
We'll push Kenneth out in front. Never mind. Screw you. I got it. No, it ain't up here.
Here's the lineup.
That's a numerical.
Yeah, here's the thing hanging up. So don't go away with it. I got it.
I'm not. I'm just looking at who they put for my son's sponsor.
That's out of the media center, Bill. That's not on the official.
Okay, well,
We got BW3 and...
yeah, you're going to do the lineup? Yeah. Would you... BW3 Restaurant and Northtown?
BW3.
Yeah. BW3 Restaurant. It's actually called Bar and Grill. There's 120 of them.
Thank you.
I know. Can we turn this off so I don't look at it? Okay.
Cover it up.
Where are you in this race? Where are you in this race?
Who, my son? 16.
Billy. There he is.
You can give me some water.
Lugnut, some character, working the crowd over. And I mean working them over. I don't know what he's shooting at them, but hope they don't shoot back. Let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight's race. Automobile Racing Club of America, their Supercar Series coming to Charlotte. And you have Ron Barfield, qualified for the pole with Mark Thompson alongside. Into row 2, there you have Billy Stanbridge, and with him comes Toby Butler getting ready for a go tonight, driving for Ken Schrader. Row 3, there's Tim Steele, the new ARCA champion, won both races here in May, the Ohio youngster Matt Hutter. Into row 4 tonight, the winner at Indianapolis and DuQuoin. That's Bobby Hill and Andy Thurman, his first start at Talladega back in April. Row 5 is Perry Tripp. There's Kevin Ray, the 18-year-old from Alabama. In row 6 tonight, it's Marty Ward, the winner of 5 sportsman races here at Charlotte, and Harris Devane. Blaze Alexander, currently 4th in the points, outstanding racer, and Doug Reed's a 3rd. Row 8 is Ed Dixon and Billy Venturini in that VW3 car. In row 9, Sherry Minter, the daughter of NASCAR pioneer Clyde Minter. She's been on the pole a few times in this track. Then comes Dill Whittemore III. Next up, who's this guy?
Sammy Potashnik.
Well, where's he from?
Well, he's a rookie in the series, right along with Jimmy McCune. He's in the number 37 car. McCune, a open wheel racer.
Now we've got Bobby Bowser here, the winner of 3 short track races this year, and Ron Burkett in row 11. For row 12 tonight, it's Rick Eckert and Mark Stahl. Going to row 13, Ron Cox and Mark Gibson. Row 14, Donnie Paul and Glenn Brewer. Old dirt track driver, that Glenn Brewer.
Oh, yeah, he's a good one for sure. We'll see Del McCowart coming up. Everybody knows old Delma. He's the piano player.
How about H.B. Bailey here, 59 years young, out of Houston, Texas. Then in row 16, there's Russell Greer and Art Cross.
Frankie Stradlin will start in row number 17 along with Kurt Piercy. Piercy in a team car along with Glenn Brewer.
And then you've got Rick Shepard and Gary Weinbrower in row 18. 19 coming up here.
Brian Kahns is in car number 18. He's from Michigan. And David Frog Hall from Blue Springs, Missouri.
We remember Frog from the last time you guys were here.
The 84 Lumber car of Norm Benning will start 39th. And Roger Blackstock in car number 48. The very last car on the field, Ken, is Jerry Hill. He's supposed to be in car number 5, but he wasn't able to make it back here to the race. We'll tell you a little bit more about that.
Okay, well, there's the starting lineup for the ARCA cars as they come up online. We'll take a quick break and be back to tell you the story of this biggie.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Did you?
Mm-mm. I couldn't find him.
All right, I'm just curious what Toby Butler answered my question
Sure.
with.
Why, Shauna? Didn't you understand him?
All right.
Got some lovely fireworks over here.
There are some people in this race that I've never heard of.
Got to see the Busch
Bill.
field.
I was just going to give you a little strategy piece here. Yeah, you know, the fact that the race has been run, this will be the 3rd time. Once they did it for 100 miles, once for 258 miles. This is 200 miles, that sort of thing.
Oh, God. Back with you at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Got fireworks up over the second turn. We're going to have fireworks on the second turn before this one is over, as well as everywhere else around this 1.5-mile track. Nice crowd out for a Wednesday night race at Charlotte, and Dick Berggren can tell us more.
Well, we're going to have an interesting question about strategy, Ken. They've never run this race at this particular length. Now, the ARCA cars were here twice in the springtime, late in May. First time they came here, they managed to run themselves about 100 miles. Second time, 258 miles. Tonight it's 200 miles. So when you talk about having a book on what you ought to do with tires and fuel, nobody's got a book. So Ron Barfield's crew, they've got an interesting strategy. They are thinking seriously about going to the halfway point, wait for that mandatory yellow flag, put fuel and tires in at that point, and then try to make a bonsai run all the way to the end. Now, the 52 car, Toby Butler, their strategy is going to be to try to go a third of the way, fuel and tires, another third of the way, fuel and tires, and then go ahead to the end. Now, importantly, guys do not have to come in during that yellow flag period at the halfway point. If they want to stay on the racetrack, they can do that. Well, I'll tell you what, nobody really knows what they ought to do to win this race tonight. It's going to be interesting to watch the strategy unfold.
It's fun to see the ARCA folks get out here and run these super speedways, and remember again that the pole sitter Barfield, those who come first shall go last. He's got to come out of that last spot as they had to change cars. We'll have a camera on board with Barfield to watch him as he thunders up through here.
Well, speaking of strategy, like Dick had said, we were talking about this earlier tonight when we found out about the mandatory pit stop. And I feel that if anybody can run halfway, there's only two people in this field that can do it. And one of them's Ron Barfield, and the other one's Tim Steele. It seems like Barfield's probably got the best shot of anybody, seeing that is a Bill Elliott car, and it's probably got his motor in it. The Winston Cup guys have figured out the fuel mileage much better than the ARCA guys did.
Yeah, but that's saying that they're going to be clear all the way through. And Ray Dunlap, I can't see that happening. I got a feeling this is going to be an ARCA show. They're going to mix it up. They always mix it up. They're famous for it wherever they race.
Well, and this is a nighttime race also, Ken, and these guys aren't used to running a super speedway at night. This is the first time back, and many of the drivers that are in this field weren't even here in May. So a lot of guys not sure what to expect in the drafting conditions with 41 cars out there on the racetrack, so we'll have to see.
Okay, you two guys were down there for the drivers' meeting. What was the big headline? What were they saying to the drivers' team?
I think the biggest thing was the mandatory pit stop here, and use your heads. Same thing that they tell us at every driver's meeting, and it's true. You can't win the race on the first 100 miles. You can't win it till even 150. You got to get to the checkered flag before you can win.
First plus financial 200. It's about to happen, folks, so don't go away. ARCA's here at Charlotte. The sparks are going to fly.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
They're not.
Yeah, Ken's right here. So as soon as we come back from the break.
No, they're in the cars, Pam. Yeah. Scooby-Doo, and then there's going to be a cannon come by and shoot money all over the grandstand. No, 50,000.
That's it. I'm out of here.
What? 50 grand they're going to shoot.
Where's Fred? Send him down with a bucket.
50,000. It's singles. Are you 50,000
Yep,
singles?
50,000 singles.
Why didn't he just put that into the
one
purse?
Susan B. Anthony dollar.
Why didn't he just put that in the purse?
I don't know. Thank you. I know, Pam. Believe me, I've asked
Because
them
this
to
way
roll
you
at
claim
8:30.
50 when it's only 10.
Okay.
This
All
could
right.
be
Okay,
the
that
single
sounds good.
greatest free-for-all wrestling event in the history of the grandstand. Hey, Humpy. Get Humpy over here. I'm going to get Humpy on here.
50.
I want him on here.
He learned that from Hugh Deary at Rockford.
Well, Mark Thompson is going to start on the outside of the front row. He's had 10 starts this year. Every one of those 10 starts, he's finished in the top 10, except here at Charlotte. He's had 2 DNFs here. Mark, you've never had a career victory. What are you going to do tonight to turn it around and make the fireworks happen in your car instead of just up in the sky?
I'm sorry I couldn't quite hear from the fireworks.
What's your plan tonight to try to break out of the mold and win this thing?
I think what we'll try to do is lead the last lap.
How are you going to do that?
I think we're going to try to use that mandatory caution right in the middle of the race.
Can you go to that point without another fuel stop?
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to try to go to the halfway point. Let's go to Steve Burns with Ken Schrader.
The famous ARCA car owner, Ken Schrader. There's multi-car owners in Winston Cup Racing. Jack Roush, Rick Hendrick, Ken Schrader in the ARCA Series tonight.
No, we didn't really plan it like that. It just kind of wound up like that. Toby Butler's been running for us a lot this year, and he's running the 52 AC Delco car. And Eddie Dixon's been running the whole series for us between some of his cars and some of mine. And so he's driving one of our Speedway cars here tonight.
Hey, Ken, a minute ago, Toby Butler said, yeah, Ken Schrader saw me walking down the street. My kids didn't have any shoes, so he decided to give me a ride. Is that true?
Not quite. It's when I first saw Toby, he was the fastest cat there was at Phoenix in a Southwest Tour car, and I kind of took notice to see who this guy was, and I've watched him for quite a bit, and he's been doing a real good job this year.
Where will you watch the race from, Ken?
Well, we were fortunate we got to pick pits 3 and 4, so we're down there together, so I just kind of hang between the two of them. They don't give me any real jobs, you know. I'm not the spotter or the crew chief or anything like that, so I just get to enjoy the race.
Well, good luck on Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
Back to Ken Squire.
Well, we've had the fireworks up in the air. We've got the cars lined up and ready to go. We've had characters running around waving out of the various pace cars here. And now we've just had a pickup truck go down the main straightaway and cannonade the crowd with $50,000. I mean, there's only one track in the country where this kind of thing happens. I think some of the best freeform wrestling I've ever seen has been over here in the grandstand tonight. As 40,000 people went for 50 grand. H.A. Humpy Wheeler is with us for just a moment before we get... Now, where did you get this idea, Wheeler?
Well, you know, people like money. And what do you see our next act? We're going to have Ken Squire jump the speedway on an ATV.
I don't know. My partner's down there with a basket trying to pick up some of that stuff to pay for this thing tonight, I understand.
Yep.
Anyway, congratulations. Off to a great start here at Charlotte, and it's wonderful to see the Automobile Racing Club of America getting the chance to participate on this track.
It's going to be a good race. Hold on to your seats.
All right, stand by, and we'll be back to give you the start of the ARCA 200 tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. First Plus Financial coming up.
Hey, Ray, at least one thing, I got a good seat for the race. Yeah, I like this. This is better than being in the pits.
Dave, you can just call it
134 laps, right?
Yeah, Atlanta.
You got one left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta.
November 9th, right?
Yep.
Oh, my heart.
He's in the flag stand.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, God.
Only at Charlotte. There's your flagman, Scooby. Ready, and he's the Grand Marshal as well, I understand?
Yeah, Scooby-Doo.
You guys at ARCA go all out.
They made an announcement earlier today about the Cartoon Network car changing in the Winston Cup Series, so that's why Scooby-Doo is here. But let me tell you what, why all the fans are here, Ken, is to see this race, and the cars are now rolling off the grid. Ron Barfield on the pole with a new track record, but keep your eye on him because he's going to fall to the back.
All right, field is cranked up, ready to go. We're ready to go for 134 laps, 200 miles, $150,000. Pretty good payout. Next to last race of the year for ARCA. They'll wind up in Atlanta, Georgia on Saturday, November the 9th, as part of that gigantic weekend of racing at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And these ARCA guys really put on a show there pretty much everywhere they go. They get it done, and they have great fields, such as we're seeing now. 41 cars rolling out, and Barfield, who qualified on the pole, then wrecked his car in practice, is going to have to come from shotgun on the field all the way on the tail end.
Yeah, he'll take the first lap starting in the pole position up front, and as they come back and cross the start-finish line for the first lap, he'll drop back and then get to the tail of the field.
A couple of cars being pushed off down here by a couple of push trucks. Take a look at the makes in the field. You got 21 Chevys. Got 12 Fords and Pontiacs and Oldsmobiles. Nice mix of cars of them.
The important thing here, though, Ken, is even though there's a lot less Fords, they're very, very strong Fords. And most of them have motors in them that are provided by Ernie Elliott, so you're going to see some pretty fast cars out there tonight. And many of these cars are former Winston Cup cars. The one that Ron Barfield's in, as Steve Burns talked about down on the pit road, is one that Bill Elliott's driven. So it's a fast race car, but he's got a long way to go.
Dick Berggren, Steve Burns, Shawna Robinson along on the pit side to give you the action. Ray Dunlap and Bill Venturini with us with a lap or two before they crank them up and send them out. Shooby-dooby-doo. Puts them on their Puts him on the pace.
you can
Okay, let's see the
field-
94 backing up. There he
Field
goes.
passing him right now, and he's going to drop to the tail. They'll probably give him 1 or 2 more laps before they go green.
Ken, let me make one mention real quick about the number 5 car. We talked about Jerry Hill had qualified that car all the way back in 41st. Well, that's because he came here Monday hoping to go racing, and he got a phone call from home with some very bad news. One of his business partners had a heart attack, and he's in very bad shape in the hospital. So Jerry went home to be with him and to work on the business, and he has not been able to get back from La Plata, Maryland to drive that car. So his crew chief, Willie Ringer, is going to be in the car, but I don't think they're going to race it very long. You'll probably see him heading to the pits.
Shauna Robinson can tell us more on pit road.
You know, one interesting thing here with the ARCA races is a lot of these pit crew members come from Winston Cup teams, and Andy Thurman here tonight has 7 All-Pro members, 5 of them coming from the Miller Rusty Wallace team and 2 of them from the Texaco Haviland team. We've also got all the Spam crew members crewing for the Billy Venturini car, so it's real interesting how the Winston Cup people really come to help out these ARCA.
Yeah, one of the things she didn't mention is one of them's her husband. He's the jack man on that car.
Yeah.
Come on, Shauna. All right. Bill, what were you going to say?
I was going to mention that my son has got the full Spam team pitting him tonight, seeing Lake Speed.
From Harry Melling?
Yeah, from Harry Melling, Lake Speed, and his team are in the same building as me, and they've been helping me all year long. I want to thank the Mellings for that. And
and you know that what's his name, Frog Hall? Remember the story here at Charlotte when we were here before? He picks up this guy. He picks up the guy to be a member of his crew when they got tangled up in a traffic jam at a circle somewhere.
Yeah, he was sitting in traffic.
And the guy didn't stay for the whole race. He pulled down the pit road, and his mechanic had gone home. He got bored, so he went home with about 30 laps to go.
The Bondo Marhide Series, Ken, is definitely a lower division, a place to get started, but the guys in the pit area take it just as seriously, and that's why you see so many Winston Cup teams or crew members down there, because these guys want to win, and they know that pit stops can play a big part in it.
And that's what Barfield is doing right now, topping off the tank to get it back out here. Hey,
sure.
End of the story, folks. That guy that showed up that they just brought along, a hitchhiker on the highway, he's back as the crew chief for that outfit for tonight's race. We'll get back to that more with, I'm sure, with Steve Burns.
That was a real smart move on Ron Barfield's crew, because he has to start last. He didn't lose any positions, come down pit road, because we're going to get green this time by. And now he's got a full tank of gas. As the whole field ran 2 parade laps.
Maybe that helps him get to the halfway break.
They may get him to the halfway break.
Exactly. So we'll watch for Barfield in the 94 coming from the rear as they get ready to go racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Brian Cahn's number 18 from Livonia, Michigan, is on the pit area. They're pushing that car back, so a very tough break for him as the field is about to go green. The pace car now dropping down the pit road. We'll see if we get the flag. Jim Clark on the flag stand tonight, and there's the green from Scooby-Doo.
Green is out. Billy Stanbridge puts it down on the inside, rockets through. Billy Stanbridge able to take that inside spot, and he immediately is challenged. Mark Thompson right there. Good clean start and into the back straightaway for the first time. Arc of Stanbridge back to second place. Look at this run down the inside. Here's the 26, moving up Blaze Alexander. What a show he gave us the last time here, and falls back a spot. Coming by to complete 1.
Alexander finished second in one of the races back here in May, but he's getting passed right now by Kevin Ray in the number 43 car with Richard Petty Driving School sponsorship on that. But I'll tell you what, Ken, the car that got the very worst start out of that whole deal was number 20, Andy Thurman. He started up near the front, but dropped back about 6 or 7 positions when the green flew.
Well, that team is owned by Dean Myers. That's a full Winston Cup team that he's driving for, so he should be a big factor in the race tonight.
So you have Mark Thompson out in front, the guy that was second at Talladega, Alabama earlier this season. He also pulled that off at Michigan. Oh, look at Tim Steele.
Boy,
down to the inside of the red,
Toby
number 16.
Butler was right on the outside of him.
There's Butler dropping in. What a great USAC driver Toby Butler has been for some time in those open wheel cars. Back straightaway. Here you are with the top 4. Getting it done.
Mark Thompson's Ford out front there, Ken, in number 66, and that is a race car that Mike Brandt built for him. And Mike, the crew chief on that car, is going to be leaving at the season's end to go back to work for Bill Elliott. So the number 66 Midway Island car has been on the pole twice this year, both times that we went to Michigan, and it appears he's got a strong one again tonight.
Take a look at Barfield from 41st to 29th in 2 laps, the number 94. Hey, for second place, how about this? There's Steele down on the inside. drops it under Billy Stanbridge. And here comes the ARCA champion of this year, Tim Steele, on a roll, looking for that front man, Mark Thompson. Really closing the ground down. 5 car lengths, 6 car lengths. Yeah, Tim Steele closing it up fast.
Did you see the sparks, though, coming out of the bottom of that car? That is Billy Standridge's number 78, the Diamond Rio car, and he must have a very soft setup in that race car, because as he went into the turn, a lot of sparks coming from the underneath.
Well, when you go into turn number 1, there's a little dip there, and if you go in really hard, you'll see it, sparks fly from it.
Battle for the lead. Steele is there, challenging Mark Thompson. This is happening in lap 6 of 134. Thompson holds him off and stays right there on the bottom. If Steele wants it, he's got to try to go around. He finds a hole, trying to peek down to the bottom.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ken, Tim Steele has led 1,400 laps in competition this year in the ARCA Bondo Marhide Series, and here he goes right back up front where he's used to running here at Charlotte. Again, he won both of the races when we were here back in May, and it looks like he's pretty strong again tonight.
Tim Steele drawing away, but look at Barfield coming on. He continues to rocket up through the field. Was in 24th, now he's up into 22nd and closing. What a run he's having. Let's go down to Dick Berggren.
Well, Ken, you're talking about Ron Barfield working his way through this pack. He's got a pretty darn good spotter, a fellow named Bill Elliott, who owns the car. And the crew says Bill is going to be calling the strategy tonight in terms of when they should pit, when they shouldn't pit, and how they should play their game. Nobody knows it better than Bill Elliott, who has won here at Charlotte before.
Can't imagine the phone call that Ron Barfield had to make the other night. First call to the shop, he says, "Hey, Bill, I'm on the pole. This is a great race car." About 25 minutes later, he says, "Yeah, the car's junk."
Yeah, right, and I did it.
Yeah.
Well, Bill Elliott's used to that. He understands. He's been around a while. There's Barfield down on the bottom, shooting through.
He moves
gets
back
under Bobby Bowser.
Yeah, number 21. Donnie Paul with a pretty strong car here also, Ken. He's following right behind Ron Barfield's New Holland Ford, and Donnie Paul in the number 79 in a Chevrolet, but that's a very aerodynamic race car, and he's having a pretty good run through the field, too.
The 20th position comes Barfield. That's under Sherry Minter now. Back up in front. There's Tim Steele. Boy, he looked just a little uneven there, but he gathers it up. Keeps on hauling the mail as he works lap number 10 of 134 to be run for the Automobile Racing Club of America at Charlotte. Okay, if you can, just keep us on the 94 as much as you can. He'll be the story coming up. Wonderful, thanks.
Hey, Pam, when Barfield went by to take 20 spot 2 laps ago, he went right through the grass. I don't know if you saw that.
If we got that, that'd be fun to look at again. Ooh, to Toby Butler.
Hey, Pam.
We got a blown motor. We got a blown motor out of 4.
That's over in 2.
Is that Toby Butler?
Yeah.
Is that Billy?
Oh!
51. That's
Ed Dixon.
Talk about the
Dixon.
chassis. Chassis's good.
Oh, boy.
4.
Did he get hit sitting there?
I think
Left
it's
is
just
that. 11. Don't give up this track position. Look up at
Who else is in it?
How bad are they behind us?
The 65 is Patashnik. Lost the motor coming out of 4, but these were 2 separate incidents.
You mean the pack right behind you? They just don't have anything
Dixon's
for
moving.
you.
Yeah, we got one guy here.
I think you and Steele are in right now.
65.
I don't think the blown motor was caused the wreck, because the motor wasn't coming out of 4. Oh, he just got tagged.
Doug Reed
tagged.
pushed Dixon, and Dixon hits Alexander, 26.
Okay, please keep an eye on the leaders for us. You kind of help us. We're going to try and pit with the leaders. Let us know when they start down 50.
You would have kept it going.
Doug Reed and who else?
Doug Reed hits Dixon.
Action at both ends of the speedway here in the First Plus Financial 200 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here you see Sammy Potashnik's number 65. It lost an engine up in 4, but over in turn 2, 3-car jam session. The worst of it looks like it's gone to Ed Dixon, but Doug Reed was in it as well, Ray.
Yeah, there was 3 or 4 cars involved in this. You're looking at Ed Dixon in the 51, and here's what happened. Coming into turn number 1, the 05 Long Lewis Ford of Doug Reed just come off there a little bit too quickly, and he got into the back of Dixon. Now, this is one of Kenny Schrader's cars, and as it gets spun around, he heads up towards the turn, and boom, there's Blaze Alexander in the Lisa Express Chevrolet. Hammers right into there. Harris Devane did a nice job of scooting through there, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other cars accidentally made a little contact as they tried to slow up.
But it was Dixon and Doug Reed and Blaze Alexander that really took the thrashing in turn 2 where this incident, and Dick Berggren can tell us more.
Well, the left side of Doug Reed's car is pretty well bashed in, Ken. He's here on what's going to be an extended pit stop. Hasn't lost a lap so far. Toby Butler also took this opportunity to pit. They put fuel in it, made a wedge adjustment in the car, sent him out. That's more of that strategy stuff, trying to get through on as few stops as possible. But Butler's going to be in the back of the pack. Reed now has finished work. They've changed the outside tires on the car, and he's sending that thing back out, or what's left of it anyway.
Blaze Alexander's car resting up here. It looks like it is done. We'll have more on the story here in just a moment from the First Plus Financial 200.
Matt Hutter pitted at the same time.
He's still in there.
No, he just pulled out. He pulled out.
He's hot.
Talk about who was on pit road and so forth.
The 84 car.
Norm Benny.
And here comes some more cars now.
Barfield. 94 is on pit road.
Barfield's pitting.
Somebody in Barfield's pits?
There's probably debris over there, so they're not going to take a chance.
Thank you.
Yeah, because he just gave up all that track position. They're not putting tires on them. Making a chassis change. It's because they never got to practice with the car.
Who?
They're doing a chassis change. They're not changing tires.
On Barfield?
On Barfield. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Working lap 14 under caution here. ARCA event at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ron Barfield has just given up all the good track position that he had. He's gone to the end of the wagon train. He came onto pit road. Let's see what that was all about. Dick?
Well, Barfield was in here. He's not happy with the way the car is performing, Ken. He says the car is still sort of jumping around in the corners, so he came in, made a pit stop. They did a little adjustment, but Bill has already told him, Bill Elliott, that is, not much you can do about that. Just do the best you can to find a good line and live with it.
Yeah, but Bill Venturini, they never had a chance to really break that thing in.
No, he had no practice lesson with that car. That was a smart move. If the car wasn't comfortable or good enough, now's the time to pit the first yellow. He's got a long time to go before the race is over. Come in this time. He can even come in 1 or 2 more times and not really hurt him. If he gets the car right, he can go to the front. So I think it was a real smart move. The number 1 car, the Phoenix construction car of Matt Hutter, that's been down pit road now for the 2nd time.
Doug Reed's car is still rolling. He's on pit road right now. We see the 78 of Billy Standridge is coming in. So a lot of guys making some adjustments. Barfield is on his way back down the pit road here. We'll see what they do to the car this time. He didn't get back up to speed, so what might they do, Bill?
And I think Bill Venturini is right. They're going to continue to make those adjustments on the New Holland car and try to get that thing righted to make a run here.
I can see
because they haven't had a chance to break the
they must have a tire rubbing on the left rear fender because they're over pulling the fender out. And it's a safe move. He's in the back of the field, so they're pulling the fender out.
Dick Berggren can add.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There is a tire rubbing here. You can just see that the tire's a little bit shiny. The device that they've got between the tire and the fender is designed specifically to fend the fender out. It has done its job. He has more clearance. He has a full tank of gas, and he's leaving here.
Big break for Barfield. Gives up track position, but it could put him in a position to win this thing before it's over. We're at lap 15 that they're working right now in the First Plus Financial 200.
keep track of that so we know when they pit him.
Murray, can you see how much?
Can you show it to me?
Yeah, that's the
Cars in the
51 car.
car?
That's that Dixon's car. Yeah, they're
Yeah, it
going
just looks
at
like he just
well, they're-
got all four.
They're picking up at Dixon's car against the firewall, but it looks like they're going to flatbed Blaze Alexander's. They're all still by Blaze. Did he get out?
Pam, do we have in cars yet or not?
Should I talk about that, Pam? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, with the fog.
Yeah.
Bowser pitted, too.
When you said chopper, I thought you meant a big, brave motorcycle rider.
Tashnik's number 65 being brought in. That's the car that exploded an engine in 4, but the major incident was over in turn 2 that tore up 3 cars pretty severely. You see some oil and debris, and they're really having to work the track over. That's where Potashnik's car ended. Now they have that little quarter-mile track here for the Legends cars, and it was in part of that he came to rest. Here's what happened out on the track.
Well, again, Doug Reed just gets in there a little bit hot on Ed Dixon, but boy, Blaze Alexander really slammed the wall hard there, and a lot of fire erupting out of the back of the Lisa Express Chevrolet there, the number 26 car, and I'm not sure what the other car was that bumped through there.
That was my son Billy that happened
was
to drive through both cars. I was surprised. Did a good job.
This is important, though, Ken. In the season-long points championship, Blaze Alexander is 4th coming into this race, and Dixon is 5th, and there's only 30 points separating these two, and they're going to finish right side by side tonight, so that part of the points will come down to the last race at Atlanta.
Well, that one's finished right there for sure.
Kenny Schrader has got to be hating looking at that picture.
But he likes to see his cars in ARCA racing. He's a big supporter of that. There's Tim Steele up in front, Mark Thompson for 2nd, uphill. And we can find out a little bit more about what's been happening with the one car out here, Matt Hutter, and get that report from Shauna Robinson. Shauna?
All right, I'm here with Mark Reno. Mark, you came in earlier with the tailpipe. Did you get that taken care of?
Yeah, we had a tailpipe bracket break that was dragging on the track, and the car was okay, but we needed gas anyhow to make it to the halfway caution, so we're all fixed up and we're good to go now to the halfway point.
Okay, thanks.
Mark Reno there. There's a family that's been racing a long time.
Well, for sure. And that race car, the number 1, is owned by James Finch. Jeff Purvis, now running full-time in the Busch Grand National Series, won our race down in Daytona earlier this year, then started racing Busch Grand National, but they like this Matt Hutter, and they said, let's go see what he can do. His first super speedway start tonight.
And there you see Mark Thompson that was leading here at the outset before Tim Steele ran him down.
Well, with the accident on the Baxter radio and all the debris, that's a pretty smart move. He's running up front, real competitive, and he don't want to take a chance of having a cut tire. He's coming in, putting on 4 tires. I also see that they're working on the front end of the grill. I don't know if he's overheating or having a problem, but they're adjusting the front spoilers is what it looks like.
Now, does he do a lot of short track racing with you as well?
Well, just a couple of races. He finished 2nd at Pensacola, Florida a couple of years ago, but primarily super speedways. He's had 9 top 5 runs on super speedways, so he certainly has a good team, and I think you'll see him right back to the front again tonight.
Now, how many cars do you bring to Atlanta in November for that Saturday showdown?
Bill, you've been there and seen that situation, used a provisional a few times.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta, the last race of the year in Atlanta seems to bring everybody out of the woodwork. There's usually between 60 to 70 cars qualifying for that race, and Atlanta's a fast, tight racetrack. And as Ray was saying, I've wrecked a few even in practice, but it's going to be an exciting, season ending over in Atlanta. I'm hoping that we can go. I like to be part of that with my son. But speaking of Mark Thompson, with I guess his crew chief is leaving at the end of the year. Donnie Strait, Bob Strait's brother, has been helping along, and I think he's kind of next in line to be crew chief. I'd like to see that. He's a good guy. I wish I could have him, but Mark's got a good program, and he should definitely run up front.
We're getting a report that one of the reasons for the delay is that Blaze Alexander got his foot caught there. He's all right, but they're taking plenty of time. There was a lot of bent metal, as you saw from that picture. Blaze roared into that wreck, and the car got badly torn up, so they're taking some extra time with Blaze Alexander. He's conscious. He seems to be all right, and we can get a bigger update as well on number 66 right now from Steve Burns.
Bill Venturini speculated just a moment ago that they may be having problems, and they were. In the wreck that just happened, Mark Thompson ran over a spring that had been knocked out of another car, and it bumped up the front air dam. It looks like they're going to bring him back on pit road, but again, it's going to mess up his aerodynamics to an extent.
Just saw H.B. Bailey down here on pit road, and he got a piece of that wreck. Right side of his car is pretty well flattened out on his Pontiac. H.B., who ran Winston Cup races for years, he was 5th in Daytona back in the early 70s in the 500 race.
Yeah, he's Mark Thompson.
Hey, the funny thing is happening, Pam. Pam? A funny thing is happening. When you talk to me, I don't hear anybody else, so I can't hear Billy or I can't hear anybody. All I hear is you. It cuts everybody else, so I can't respond to them. Usually I can. I get you in one ear and I get program in the other. Tonight when you come on, it locks out everything, so I could... Yeah, okay, Billy was looking for a response, and I had no idea what he said. Oh, no, I appreciate that. But I think that there's something here that we need to fix, and yeah, thank you, just so you know. And Pam, don't ever speak to me again.
Oh, we love you, Pam.
Jeez.
That's your second banana.
This is getting sloppy.
He's the top banana.
Speed, get out before the pace guy.
Okay, so are we keeping track of caution laps? Anybody, are you? Okay. Boy, that's pretty.
With the DNFs, that's the key.
Okay, ARCA fans, here's your chance to stand up, bust a few buttons. There's a comparison of the guy that's number 1 in Winston Cup, Jeff Gordon, 10 wins, and Tim Steele, who's already sewed up the ARCA championship. Take a look at the rest of those statistics.
Well, the one that stands out that definitely makes you a champion is the DNFs. That's what breeds champions.
There's Blaze. There's Blaze Alexander being brought in after that crash. And the story we are getting, what we have been told is that he seemed to be all right, but that his foot was caught up in that wreck, and it took a long time to get him out so there wasn't any more injured. And as soon as we get more, we'll pass it on to you. But not to be overly concerned about those pictures.
Well, the speeds here, Ken, are somewhat deceiving on this racetrack. It's a mile-and-a-half speedway, but when you're driving here, it's a lot like a Daytona or a Talladega. And they were going very, very fast coming off this. What was the speed there, Bill? What would you estimate they were doing?
I'd say they were probably running about 175 coming off the corner right there, and you know, Ed Dixon got up into the wall right in front of Blaze, and there was Blaze couldn't stop. There was no reaction. I mean, nothing he could do.
And he got it both ways. He got it from the car in front and got it from the wall. So we will update you on that story. I know that there is concern about this young racer who has been so impressive this year. Let's go back to Steve Burns for a moment. Excuse me, guys.
With Mike Brandt, the crew chief for the outside pole sitter, number 66, Mark Thompson. Mike, notice that you brought the car down pit road, and everybody was underneath looking at it. What could you see?
Everything was fine. When that crash on the back straight, there was a spring in the middle of the racetrack, and Tim swerved to miss it, and Mark didn't have anywhere time to react to it. And we just checked to make sure nothing was bent underneath. Everything's fine. The air dam's fine. The oil pan's good. So we just want to check, make sure everything's all right.
Okay, they also changed 4 tires on one of the previous pit stops.
Well, we're watching Mark, who will be in 27th, and that'll be fun to watch him try to ramble back through the field as well. we get set on a restart, and let's reset the front of the field. After all of these pit stops, the ambulance is coming back with Blaze Alexander, and we'll try to update you on that story as soon as we have more information. Pace car bringing the field by. We will have completed 21 laps. Leading is Tim Steele, and there is Blaze Alexander's number 26 as they have it up on the rollback and bring it in.
You know, unfortunately, Ken, this was a car that Blaze really didn't want to race here. It's a brand new race car, and they felt like they needed to work some bugs out on that particular car. It was a Hutcherson-Pagan chassis, and he really wasn't happy with it in practice. As we mentioned earlier, he had finished second here at Charlotte back in May. He said he was not really sure he'd be able to have that kind of a quality run today, but certainly shortened at the very early stages of tonight's race.
Well,
Dick can add to that.
Yeah, and what I have to add is that it was a brand new car. Tonight was the very first time he was ever going to run it. The car that he finished second with back in May here is sitting in the truck. They felt that they just had to get this new car going, and they have had quite a struggle with it to the point that they actually wound up welding some pipe into the car this afternoon to try to help prevent it from flexing to make the chassis handle a little bit better. They got a lot more work to do now, though, don't they?
Yeah, it certainly is broken in. Might have been a brand new car, but I mean, it is broken. You get a look at that nose on that car as they bring it in. That particularly on the driver's side. You got a new snout for sure coming on that one, and maybe they've lost that car.
Well, we're going to get in the signal here that we got one to go, and you can. It's going to be an interesting restart because you've got the front runners, Billy Stanrich, who was running up front in 18th, and you had Mark Thompson, who was leading and running second, is in, I think it's 24th, and you've got Ron Barfield up to 20th. So you've got the cars that were running 1, 2, 3 earlier in the race, now 18th, 20th, and 22nd. So it's going to make it interesting to watch these guys go right back up to the front.
And back to fuel economy, Ken. Barfield was in on lap 15, so he's got the most fuel of any of these cars on the track.
That guy that's in second place out there, that red with the yellow numbers, 46, Bob Hill. Watch him as they get ready to go. Doubling up. Lap cars, which side?
Inside. Lap cars to the inside.
Cars in the lead lap on the outside. They'll take lap 24 as they take green. Average speed's about 91 miles an hour with this lengthy caution period, and that's about 40 miles an hour slower than when Curtis Turner won here back in 1954.
So with this long caution period here, everyone should have enough fuel to get to the halfway point, even if they haven't made a pit stop. So that part of the first half strategy of the race has kind of been thrown out the window.
Washed out. A lot of famous names out of ARCA over the years. You talk about Curtis Turner, and everybody remembers Jack Bowser. Hope they remember Iggy Katona, Tiger Tom Pistone, and truly one of the greats, Benny Parsons, graduate of ARCA. Need to graduate. Good series all the way around, as we mentioned earlier. Dirt, short track, road race, super speedways. Here they come. ARCA brings their field down out of turn 4, and at lap 24, we're back under green.
Slow restart for Kevin Ray and the number 43. Harris Devane has moved right up on his bumper as they come down the front straightaway. We see him coming by right there. Devane now right in front of number 92, Marty Ward. And Ken, this is Marty Ward's first ARCA Bondo Marhide start, but he's got a lot of experience here at Charlotte.
Yeah, he's run real good at the Sportsman Series when they ran here. I think he's won 2 or 3 races here. Good competitor.
Looks like the number 20 there of Andy Thurman, Akita Copy Products is a sponsor on that race car. Yeah. And hey, don't forget, Bill, this very same race car that you're looking at right there went to Victory Lane earlier this year at Pocono with Mike Wallace driving.
Wallace, third and fourth position right there coming by.
Andy Thurman, he's one of those driving instructors for the Fast Track Driving School, and he's probably logged the most miles out of any driver here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, but does that put the pressure on him, knowing that car is a winner this year, and Mike Wallace did it, and he said,
look at this scramble.
The caution is out for a spin on the back straightaway. A couple of cars getting turned around. Mark Stahl, and that looks like the number 36
is in there, too. H.B. Bailey. That Pontiac got whacked again. This happens after only a couple more. Pace car is back out here again.
Doesn't appear to be a lot of damage there, Ken. Mark Stahl is rolling, so somebody evidently just got a little impatient.
I don't think Mark hit anything, but you can see H.B. Bailey definitely tagged the outside wall with the front end of the car, and I feel kind of sorry for him. He's been out 2 years. He's had some health problems. He had a torn rotator cuff, and then he ended up getting a staph infection in that. And here we got a replay here in slow motion. You can see Oh, he's actually sliding to the inside first. Hits the inside retaining wall first.
Boy, did Mark Thompson
do a
slide away there.
beautiful job.
Well, the number 1 car of Matt Hutter was the one that was right behind HB and Mark Stahl there. I believe he may have been the cause of that. That's not a very good angle for us to make that call. But, yeah, a lot of damage to that brand-new Pontiac of HB Bailey's.
Yeah, he really had to hit hard because he tagged the inside wall first, then shot back across the track and hit the outside retaining
Must have
wall.
broken off the brakes when he hit that inside wall and came back up through. Lucky that he didn't lose more there.
And lucky nobody hit him.
Yeah, exactly.
You could see Mark Thompson did a beautiful job of avoiding that wreck.
HB, Herring Burl Bailey.
Is that really?
He'll never forgive me for saying that. I'll be in deep trouble with HB. Apparently, he is okay. We're waiting for further word, and we'll be back with more in just a moment at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, they're readjusting on Barfield again.
Yep. Can you go down and check just to see what the boys say about Blaze? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, Barfield is going to use the first half of the race just to get the car set up.
I just sent Ray down. He'll go down and talk to Arca.
Something wrong with Barfield's car. I'm going down. I'll take my camera with me.
Nah, they're not going under the hood, are they? Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry, Dick.
At the care center, and they're checking him out. Nobody's saying a whole lot, so I think I better hang out.
Okay. That's about Blaze.
Yeah. Hey, Michael, count for me again, please.
I mean, this is good strategy on LA's part.
Okay. I need to say that.
I don't think we ever got him, did we? Yeah, that's all right. As long as Ken tells why we don't have in-cars, because originally we said we were going to. Yeah, you can see the haze.
Yeah. Having fun? Yeah, doing good. See that mess on the back straight? Yeah, could you, not get so close another time, because my heartbeat kind of gets a bit high.
Negative.
Picking up HB Bailey's car, we can give you an update on the condition of Blaze Alexander after that earlier crash, Ray.
Appears that he's okay, Ken. He was trying to climb out of the car by himself, so that's a real good sign, but he did get his foot caught on something in there, so we'll maybe see if one of the pit road reporters can catch up with him when they release him out of the
Steve Burns is over there by the hospital, and there's more on the Barfield car number 94. It's been in again, off again, on again down here on pit road, and we'll go to Finnegan himself, Steve Burns, and see what we, rather to Dick Berggren, and see if we can find out more about what the condition of that car is.
Well, it's a little bit different strategy. I mean, they're still worried about the shock absorbers bottoming out in this car, Ken. They had the hood up last time. Looked like there was an engine problem. There is not. They just wanted to see how much shock travel there was. They are convinced that, in fact, they are bottoming out. And I'm going to tell you what, a car that is bottoming out at 180 miles an hour is a frightening thing because you just never quite know when it's going to go. And when it does bottom out like that, it's awful, awful easy to lose control, as Bill Venturini could tell you.
Well, yeah, just like we had heard earlier that Ron had said the car was darting all over the racetrack, and Bill Elliott had told him, well, there isn't too much we can do about it. That's exactly what was happening. As the car was bottoming out, the shock was bottoming out, it actually would upset the car. The only thing he can do to correct that is actually raise the front end of the car. So they may, on the yellow pit stop at the halfway point, come in and put a couple rounds in the front end to raise it up, and that should help it. It'll change the characteristic of the handling of the car, but I think I'd rather have that than have it bottoming out in the corners, because you don't know which way it's going to go. If you're going too deep and it bottoms out, it could turn the car to the right.
And you have absolutely nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do.
Just hold on and pray. And that's the condition that is being faced by the 94, and they hope they have it rectified on that new Hallman car that Ron Barfield is driving.
Well, the good thing is that they were able to pinpoint the problem. Half of the problem during a race when you're trying to adjust the race car to get it better is to know what the problem is or what to do to fix it. At least they know what they have to do, and they'll see if they can do it.
So Tim Steele, number 16, is your leader with the 46 of Hill in second spot. And then maintaining third at the present time, Perry Tripp. Have I got that one right?
Yep, that's
Perry
right.
Tripp is right there. There's H.B. Bailey's car going back. And running up in fourth is Andy Thurman. He's had a really good run thus far. Give fifth spot at the present time to Kevin Ray.
Well, Bob Hill has 2 wins this season already, Ken, so he's certainly capable of doing the job. And Larry Clement, the car owner on that race car, is pretty excited. This sponsor, Advanced Auto Parts, that's on this Monte Carlo, they are looking at maybe going to a bigger sponsorship deal and running back the full season again, and Bob Hill would love to do that. He's a master on the dirt tracks. He's had a lot of experience there.
Harris Devane in the 66. He gets credit for 6th position as we get ready on this restart. And then in 7th, you would have Marty Ward going 8th as they get them lined up. And I think we're going to get a lap before we get going once again. Let's see, what do we got back there in 8th?
Got Dale Whittemore.
Dale Whittemore?
Yeah. You got Mark Gibson in 9th.
On the pit road right now is the car 05 of Doug Reed. Brand new sponsorship on this car, Ken, Med Partners, and they're going to go Busch Grand National Racing next year. Do probably 15 of those races and 7 or 8 of this Arca-Bondo Marhide series, but they're probably not sure what that crash did to that race car. They've been into the pit road about every other lap.
You notice the meek and mild Venturini not mentioning that the Venturini car was in 10th spot?
Yeah, I know, and the Northtown Automotive and BW3 Chevrolet of Billy Venturini's running in 10th.
Hey, that's a pretty good run.
Yeah, I'm happy. He's been running conservative. I can see the car's not handling the way he wanted it to. But when I'm sure what the strategy now is at the halfway point, come in and pit, and I'm sure Jim Long, the crew chief of the Spam Melling team, will make the adjustments that need to have it run better.
So we're ready to get going once again. They'll come around and take green on lap 32. 2 extensive periods under yellow. The first when Blaze Alexander was caught up in a 3-car jam off turn number 2. He's down here at the care center. Steve Burns is standing by to give us more on that, but that does not sound serious. Second one took a while to get H.B. Bailey's Pontiac off the back straightaway after it slithered from the inside wall, collected the outside wall, and collected quite a bill as far as repairs are concerned, that great-looking new Pontiac. Here you come with Tim Steele leading the field on the outside. Leaders lined up. Number 16's the man to watch. ARCA champion of 1996. Right behind him as they come down to take green will be Bob Hill, and Hill stayed pretty close to him. And you wonder if Tim Steele is just waiting on this field now, knowing he's got him pretty well covered. Here's your start.
Well, Donnie Paul in the car number 79 just passed to the right on the wrong side of the start-finish line. I have a feeling the officials are going to take a look at that and maybe bring him back in. There was a couple of cars slowed down on that restart. He really had nowhere to go, but that's against the rules.
But yeah, and if you really get in the binders, you can mess up the guys behind you.
Yeah, as you can see on that restart, there were some cars that got out of shape, and I even noticed that my son Billy ran in at the back of Mark Gibson and definitely screwed up the whole front end of his car, so he won't be running as good as he'd like to be.
Field down out of 4. Everybody looking good. Ooh,
yeah, oh,
look
man,
at
he really crunched it. Oh, I hope he don't overheat the motor now.
There's a fair chance that he will. I mean, that's a pretty good hit on the front of Venturini's car running in 10th spot. You see the number 30 moving up here and trying to make some headway in this thing. I think that rig is that's Ron Burkett's car just behind him.
As a matter of fact, he's in 9th spot, and he's running with the car's definitely not aerodynamic like it was.
Oh, Bowser got right up alongside Ron Burchett in the 30. There was a little bit of contact there, but look here. Here comes the number 94 right on the backside of Bowser. He's making the pass there, so Ron Barfield now starting to move up through the field. Right behind him, you see Matt Hutter in the Phoenix.
And Mark Thompson's right behind Matt Hutter coming around on the outside.
So the 94 is definitely moving back through the field. Being shown in 19th position the last time by. There's Hutter moving right along with him, trying to clear out some ground.
This could be trouble right here, Ken, because Billy Venturini is running a little bit slower than Mark Thompson. Thompson's on the outside of Barfield. As they come down the front straightaway, you're going to have a little patience here.
That's what Barfield talked about at the outset, that he really had to be patient. He's played that game well. Now he shoots up through there. He knows he has that caution at halfway. Hey, we can show you what happened on that restart. Got a little crazy out there.
Yeah, you can see on the outside, Billy actually got into Mark pretty good and got him sideways.
Yeah, Mark Gibson in the number 59 was the car that didn't come up to speed very quickly, and there's quite a bit of contact there. Evidently no penalties, though, from the tower, so everybody continues to race here. Good racing all the way around the speedway, other than up front. Tim Steele is really stretching it out now. He and Bob Hill having a great run in front of the pack.
And pulling away, 25, 30
You can see the fields definitely going around Billy. He's having problems with the car. I just hope he keeps an eye on the gauges.
Battle for first, battle for second. They're about 25 car lengths apart, and then they get back into fourth spot. Into that, you find rolling along into fifth, the number 33 at the present time, Paris Devane. So we've got 37 laps down. Tim Steele doing what he's done all year. Take a look at the 43 up on the outside. Trying to get through is Kevin Ray. That 18-year-old's had a very good run.
Well, that's a beautiful-looking race car they have there, the number 43, Richard Petty Driving School. Kevin, of course, works there at the driving school, so he's trying to work out a sponsorship deal to continue that on into the Atlanta race in November. But, boy, what a great-looking race car.
He's working on Harris Devane in the 55. There you see the 43. And that's the 18-year-old. And Dick Berggren can tell us more about that.
Well, Kevin Ray really came with a cannon loaded tonight, Ken. That's not only a brand new car. Under the hood is a Richard Childress motor, and he's got lots and lots of practice out here as a driving school instructor. His father owns the car. He's got a real good shot to wind up at the front when the checkered flag falls tonight.
But Toby Butler is making a move on him right now. Toby Butler. Watching Toby Butler and Mike Bliss race each other is always a lot of fun, no matter what they're in. Saw Butler make a great move. This is your third place battle coming at you. That's Perry Tripp. He's got his hands full with that number 20, Andy Thurman, the white-blue numeral car in fourth place. The 25 pulls on to pit road. Billy Venturini, that car with the nose bent up a little. Bill, they may need you down there.
Yeah, I'm almost afraid that's what happened. They're going to go under the hood, but I saw smoke come out of it going down the back straightaway, which is a sign that he probably ran it hot and cooked the motor on it.
Perry Tripp's had an incredible season, Ken, on the super speedways at Michigan. In the early race this year, he finished fourth and then came back with even a better effort and finished third. So Bobby Rahilly helping that team out, bringing a motor combination for him, and it appears they've got a very strong race car.
That's Perry Tripp in the number 6. Holds on, and he's 3.5 seconds back from the second-place competitor. Watching here how they finally got the hood up on the Venturini car, and that does not look good at all.
Dick Berggren, what's going on down there on the pit road?
Well, Kathy Venturini is standing right here. This is kind of a family thing right now. They're all watching. The hood is up. Lots and lots of steam coming out from underneath the car. Kathy, what do you think? Can they fix that thing? Can they fix the car?
I don't know. It's overheating pretty good, and since we're not running for points, we don't want to take the chance of something happening and losing the motor. So we're going to see if we can fix it. We've got a few leaks. The radiator's leaking, so we're going to look it over and see if we can fix it. If not, we may be done.
Well, there's the story, Bill Venturini.
Yeah, that's what I had figured happened. You look at in front of Mark Gibson's car, you can see that he must have run into the guy in front of him on that restart to begin with.
Caution is out. We got yellow, and we got a bad situation up in 4. We were watching that battle in 6th position being led by Dill Whittemore, and just about the time we got there, the number 23 loops in turn 4, and Ron Cox brings out our third caution of this First Plus Financial 200 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here's Cox rolling onto pit road. Caution comes at lap 44.
Yeah, it don't look like he hit anything. Flat spotted off 4 tires.
Looks like he's racing with Burchett.
Burchett just took the air off the spoiler.
Oh, they were side by side.
Yeah, and
then
when he went by,
right.
just started
there
to go
wasn't
by
any
him.
contact.
No.
I think you're right.
Just as he started to go by him, it takes the air off the spoiler,
Yeah.
and that's what turned him.
They were pretty low in the turn,
Yeah.
too.
And the guy on the inside usually is the one that
Loses.
spins out. He's the one that loses it because the guy on the outside keeps all the air on the spoiler.
Okay. Your turn. You're going to be the analyst this time.
You or me?
It's going to be the older person.
Oh.
This one.
Yeah. Kevin Ray on the pits.
Kevin Ray has just pitted. Ron Cox in with that 23, and take a look at what happened to Ron Cox out here moments ago.
Well, Cox is in the Cooper Holmes Chevrolet, and he's on the inside of Ron Burchett. And, Bill, you can certainly tell whenever you get that low on the racetrack and side by side, there's very possibly going to be air taken off the spoiler.
That's exactly what happened. As Ron Burchett pulled alongside of Ron Cox, just as he started to pull away from the back of his spoiler, it took the air off of the inside car's spoiler. The outside car always has the air because of the way you're turning in the corner. It takes the air completely off the back spoiler of the inside car. And you can see what happens. It just kind of spins. Actually, it kind of sucks him around. They never hit, and he just sucks him around to the back bumper of the outside car.
Ron Cox getting the thrill of the week out there. Another graduate of that sportsman ranks from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, raced for R.C. Hicksman when he was here in Hicksman's car in the sportsman ranks. We're just about ready to go green again. They'll get green as they take lap number 46 onto the board. Completing 45, coming up on 46.
Well, the field is bunched up again, but Tim Steele still in the lead. Bob Hill, Perry Tripp, we're right back where we started from a few laps ago. Steele gets a really good start coming down the front straightaway, and it appears everybody got a lot better start that time.
I was wrong. I was wrong. They just caught the scoreboard up a lap, and they're working 47 now. They just kicked it up a lap. Boy, they did a lap in about 300 feet. We can get more on the condition of Blaze Alexander as we watch this restart. Tim Steele out in front. He's got a real challenge here. Here comes that 20 down on the inside. Good move by Andy Thurman as he tries to move his way up through. Meanwhile, Tim Steele just trying to draw away as he pulls out in front. But here's your battle. And there you see the 46. He's under some heavy pressure for a moment as Bob Hill staves off the number 6 another time. Perry Tripp. And right behind him, Andy Thurman in that white and blue car. Let's get a report on Blaze Alexander. Steve, what's the story?
Ken, good news. Just got back from the infield care center. Blaze Alexander was released, as was H.B. Bailey. H.B. walked out under his own power. Blaze has been transferred or is going to a local hospital just as a precaution. He's complaining of a lot of soreness in his right big toe.
Well, the battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th is really heated up between Mark Gibson and Dill Whittemore and that Toby Butler in the 52 car, the AC Delco car of Kenny Schrader.
There you see Gibson pulling away a little bit right there.
That's Toby Butler pulling away. Gibson's
Toby Butler.
A particular car that Toby Butler's in this week is the car that Andy Hillenberg raced here at Charlotte back in May. The other car, of course, we saw got drug off the speedway that Ed Dixon was in, and I think now they're down one ARCA car, but this is a pretty good one that Toby Butler's in.
Yeah, Toby was in the other car in the May race. He was in the 51 car, and now this month he's in the 52 car because Hillenberg's not driving for Schrader right now.
6th, 7th, and 8th there, and Toby Butler checking out on 6th, giving us this battle for 7th spot.
Boy, Mark Gibson's car is really working good down on the bottom. You can see he goes in the middle of 1 and 2. The car stays right on the bottom of the white line. He's doing it again. Actually, he's dipping under the white line in 3 and 4. That's a sign that the car is really working good. We got a spin in 1 and 2.
Got one in the wall.
Got one in the wall in 2.
That's the 06 that's backing down across the track. Art Cross crunched the back of that one pretty good.
Well, this is a tough break for Art Cross. The situation here, Ken, Art Cross was hoping to go road course racing at the Sebring Raceway, an event that we had scheduled coming up later in October, and the promoters at that racetrack have canceled the event, and Art had already put a motor and a transmission in this race car, which is owned by Gerald Smith and Wayne Peterson, and he said, hey, if we got the stuff in there, let's go run it at Charlotte, but it looks like he's hit the back wall, or with the wall with the back end and put some damage to the 06.
It's not too bad. most damage, I'd say, the car's maybe a rear clip, but that doesn't even look like that.
Tampa racer Art Frost backs it up into turn number 2. What's the story on Seaver?
Well, the promoters at the racetrack didn't feel they were able to get the sponsorship that they needed for that particular race.
That's been on the calendar for a while.
Yes, it has, and that's a difficult situation for the sanctioning body to tell everybody we're going to have the event. You know, they signed a contract and put a deposit down, and we were excited about going there. But
Ooh, look at
we
this.
got the
Tim
leader.
Steele.
Yeah,
Dick Berggren
Tim
standing
Steele's
by.
sitting down.
Tim Steele brings it in. You saw Gary Weinbauer throwing out some smoke on his car, and let's go to Dick Berggren for a moment.
Well, the computer here said that they could have gone a little bit further up to lap 61, but here they are, and it's only lap 51. Tim Steele in, going to take outside tires under this caution. They're going to take no chances of running this thing out of fuel and winding up at the back of the pack or perhaps losing a lap. There's going to be a 4-tire change. That's going to make this thing a rocket, as if it wasn't fast enough already with 4 fresh tires on it. So he's going to go out. He's going to be at the back of the pack. He's got a lot of work to do. Not much time to do it because that caution fly is coming up pretty soon, that mandatory caution.
Yeah, but I think he may not put it that mandatory caution. I think what his strategy is now is instead of making it a three caution race, he's going to pit now, not pit at the halfway point, probably pit a little later in the race. He's got the car that can run to the front, so I don't think Tim's worried too much, and he's really concerned. He's won the championship. Now he's here having fun.
Dale Whittemore's car had to be pushed out. You saw the 43 with a head with the hood up out there on Kevin Ray's rig. Now it's down, and here we come. Back with Kevin Ray, the 18-year-old, into this. And hey, folks, if you've missed it, get ready, because watching Tim Steele do some traffic driving is going to be real interesting.
But also, Ken, think about this. There's still an awful lot of cars on the lead lap because of all the cautions that have come in this race, so he is going to have a lot of cars to pass.
Let's go back to pit road and get this update.
This is going to be interesting. Let's ask Tom Sokolowski, Tim Steele's crew chief. How come you guys pitted before that mandatory caution?
Well, it wasn't really a strategy. We had a miscalculation in fuel mileage, and just to be safe and not run out just before the mandatory caution, we figured we better come in and get gas and 4 tires, and we're good to go.
You're not going to stop under the mandatory, are you?
I don't think so. Maybe just top it off at the end just before we go back out, seeing that we're back in the pack again. But other than that, we're ready to go. We'll top it off at the end and go for it.
You do that, will you have to stop in the second half, or can you go from the mandatory all the way to the end of the race?
To be borderline, we'll have to see what he thinks about with the tires and how the car feels. We'll have to see.
Well, they've been messing with this computer here all night long, trying to figure out how far this car will go on a tank of fuel.
They don't need a computer. They need Venturini. That's exactly what he called. Hey, we're getting ready for a restart, and we'll be back to bring it to you right after this.
Who is that person? I mean, I know
Russell Greer,
Where's he from?
Alabama, Tuscaloosa.
Oh, what's with all these Alabama?
It's racing country.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
This is Steve Burns. Your wife is down here. She's got a question for you. Go ahead and tell him.
Bill, the radiator's twisted, all the fan work is done, and it's all dented in, and the front end is nothing bent on the frame. But Billy wants to just park the car and save it for Atlanta. He doesn't want to have to go out there. He's already so many laps down. He was wondering which you thought he should do. If he should run some laps or not.
No, park the car. You can't. I don't have a spare radiator.
Thank you.
I told her.
How about that, Pam? They even have to ask me my own pit strategy. Jeez. Yeah, but see, knowing Jim Long, he'll want to put new tires on it now, and there's another $1,500.
Hey, you got the standings? You got the new standings ready to give them when we come back?
Yeah, if you guys want to plug a sponsor for me for Atlanta.
So after 52 of 134 laps in the First Plus Financial 200, it's Hill in front. Perry Tripp is in second. Andy Thurman comes to third. Harris Devane to fourth. And Toby Butler now finds himself in fifth. As to the adventures of Ron Barfield. Well, he's in 10th position with the 94. And where is the 17 in all of this? The guy that's been leading through most of the event? Well,
16th.
He is back there in 16th spot, getting ready to cut this one loose. See what he can do with the rest of this. Going to get fun from here on in, watching these guys try to come barreling up through. Good race thus far. Automobile Racing Club of America at Charlotte. They finish on November 9th in Atlanta. And they're just about ready to get this field back under green, get some more racing in.
Yeah, we've still got 22 cars on the lead lap with these cautions. It's kind of kept the field pretty well bunched up. So it'll make it interesting because we got the mandatory caution coming up in about 13 laps. So the field's going to stay pretty well packed up for a good part of this race.
18th position is the car 16. 18 for Tim Steele on this restart. Now, we had in-cars for you. Honest to goodness. Had them all set, put the helicopter up, but we've got a ceiling that's about, they said if we get any lower, we're going to be right there in the booth with you. So we're not getting any pictures out of our in-car rigs tonight, including Ron Barfield. They have to be up like 2,000 feet, 1,500
yeah, well, the fog
feet. That isn't going to work.
It's kind of foggy. You don't notice it right now on the racetrack because of the great lighting they have here, but they're not going green this time by. It looks like we're going to get one to go now, so we'll be all right.
Pretty happy just to get this race in, though, the way the weather's been here
they
in
said it's going
Charlotte.
to rain all night,
Yeah,
what they said.
A lot of rain forecast, but we got a good crowd here on hand tonight to watch this First Plus Financial 200, and a good field of cars that are going to get lined back up. And we won't have that many cars on the inside this time, Bill.
Now, how do these ARCA guys feel about coming back to Charlotte?
Oh, Ken, you got to love this place, you know. This was truly Bob Loga's dream, the former president of ARCA. He was killed tragically in Talladega earlier this year, and it's really a shame that we didn't get to see Bob in the booth up here making the calls, because this is a spectacular place under the lights with all the crowd that we had here in May. And as you talked to Humpy earlier, nobody does it quite like the way they do it here at Charlotte, and it's just great to be here.
All the years that I've run ARCA and supported them, and I've always been pushing for a race at Charlotte Motor Speed. I moved down here 3 years ago. Every time I see Humpy or Bruton, I talk to them, we need an ARCA race, we need an ARCA race. Finally, the year I decided I'm going to back off on running ARCA, and I'm going to let my son do it, they get an ARCA race at Charlotte.
And not one, but three.
Yeah, three. I said, boy, this is tearing me up.
All right, we're ready to go racing once again, folks, with Bob Hill leading the way, bringing the field down. Pace car ready to come in. That second spot is Perry Tripp. And remember, back there in 18th place, Tim Steele, who's had the field covered today. He's just made his pit stop. Let's see what he'll do as he tries to get through the crash, move through traffic, and he has Barfield right there with him as well. And on that break, he's gone.
Well, we'll see.
Steele trying to get up through.
We'll see when he gets at halfway point. Tom had mentioned that they may come in and gas and go, but it depends. If Tim's already back up front, running up front, I don't know if he will or not.
Okay, let's look up front and watch this battle. We've got 5 of them going at it, hot and heavy up for the lead. There you have that number 46. He's been in second place most of the way, but now it's Bob Hill's turn to lead. Can anybody take it away?
Good pack of cars here as Toby Butler makes a move to the inside of the number 33. That's Harris Devane, and he's kind of slowing down, but the front 4 cars are really, really running well, and they're all Chevrolets.
Meanwhile, crowding up through, Barfield and Steele chomping at the bit to get back up here with the leaders. Front 4.
Yeah, Ray made the comment that they're all 4 Chevrolets. That's because the Fords had all pitted before, but you watch the 2 Fords of Barfield and Steele come through the pack. Right now, it looks like Barfield's just a little caught up in traffic, but he's driving a smart race. Tim Steele, and actually he's going right around Mark Thompson right now, and he's going to be running right with him. He's
There's
right behind
Barfield
him.
in the 94, and he is trying to make a move and get around the cell. Take a look at number 20 down on the inside. This is for position up in front.
Second.
That's Andy Thurman. Oh, 3 wide in the back stretch. We got a crash down here in the corner at the same time. Toby Butler spinning to the outside, back to the inside.
And all these cars are racing down to the start-finish line, including Barfield and Steele coming right by the accident scene. And the number 52 of Toby Butler had moved right up on Perry Tripp in car number 6. Boy, they were lucky there wasn't more damage.
Looked like there was going to be a biggie on the back stretch as those 3 cars got together and were ricocheting off each other. Meanwhile, this was what was happening just in front of them. There's Toby Butler going down on the inside of Perry Tripp in the number 6.
Oh, you
Bang.
see Toby moves up and hits Perry, Perry does a good job of not spinning. A good job on that. And Toby's just, you can see he's not locking the brakes up. Smart move. Now car's backing up, and he's probably going to blow out a couple tires shortly. But nobody hits anybody.
And Mark Gibson saying, go higher, go low, higher, low, and what do I do? But he made the right choice. He went up to the high side. Toby did a nice job of holding the race car there so that there wasn't more people collected.
Well, that could have been a 10 or 12 car. They could say one lap, they'll be able to turn them loose again. This happened at lap 59. Correction, lap 60. Lap 60. Coming around to complete 61 this time.
Yeah, they're getting one lap to go, signal.
Tell you what, Bob Hill's getting a thrill a minute. He's up there in front. Right behind him, if you look in that rearview mirror, they're all over it.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Andy Thurman run good. He's a friend of ours here, right here at the Speedway.
Take a look at this 3 wide with Steele and Barfield all into it here. Down on the inside, you see Billy Standridge in that deal. He went to the middle.
He's going to get the battle of the red cars, and there goes Standridge. He slides back in the Diamond Rio car. Barfield and Steele apparently have cars that are about similar, and I think you're going to see Barfield be able to give him a run for it later in the race.
Toby Butler, pretty cool. He just got it down and got it out of the way, or he could have collected all of it. Here's Dick Burton.
And with Tim Cahuth, he's been talking to his driver, Toby Butler. Timmy, how is the car?
My car's all right now. We're a little tight. I guess we got pinched down underneath somebody here, and he did about a half a spin, and it backed us up quite a bit. Looks like about 7 laps to the break, so we're just going to have to try to ride it out. We're going to work on it a little bit then.
You've just seen the hardest working man in the garage here. He's working on a Grand National car for Saturday. He's got 2 ARCA cars in the race today. 1 guy, 3 cars. How does that work?
Well, pretty well right now.
He's a glutton for punishment.
Here they are coming down for the start.
Green flag is back out.
Well, Mark Gibson definitely having a problem getting up to speed on the restart. That's what caused the wreck earlier tonight. It looked like he got a problem with, must not have a 2nd or 3rd gear.
Tim Steele has moved around Barfield. He's got him, gone by him. It's Tim Steele in 8th, Barfield in 9th on this restart.
Andy Thurman's giving him a great run down coming off of turn number 2, but he got her just a little bit loose, had to back off a bit, but I think he's got something for Bob Hill in the number 46 car.
Bob Hill, that red and yellow car up in front, with Thurman right after him. Front 4 coming at you.
Let me tell you about a little bit of luck, Ken. In the very last practice last night, we had a practice from 6 till 9. At about 8:45 till 9, Bob Hill said, I'm going to go out and run just a couple more laps, and broke the transmission in the race car, put a brand new transmission in today, and he said, man, that could have happened on the 2nd or 3rd lap of the race. So they're very lucky they got that problem worked out, and here he is up front.
Take a look at Harris Devane, that red and white number 33 there in 4th spot. And watch as Tim Steele and Barfield begin to close in on these guys. There is about 2.5 seconds between 4th, and here's Tim Steele just breaking through into 5th.
Yeah, you can see Ron Barfield's lost the draft, though. Billy Stanrich and Tim Steele. He's kind of just dropping back a little, but Tim is just a rocket ship right now.
The yellow car, the number 79, is Donnie Paul. He's back in 6th, but this is Steele as he slashes his way back toward those front 4.
I'll tell you, there's a big problem for car number 37, Jimmy McCune. He has been running very well tonight, but he's going directly backwards in the field right now. There's been about 11 or 12 cars pass him in car number 37, and McCune certainly not showing the form that we saw at Michigan International Speedway, where he had a couple of really good runs.
There is that 37 McCune having his problems tonight. Tim Steele is on a roll. He's coming back up, and there's that 94. He's been sort of caught up. Remember, we had that trouble with that car bottoming out in 94, and he's taking it real easy, gingerly, trying to move through. Meanwhile, up in front, Tim Steele closes in on those leaders. There you see the number 33. That's your 4th place car under challenge from Tim Steele.
Steele puts on the brakes when he got right behind Harris Devane there.
Big time.
Certainly has a faster car, Ken, as they come off the corner, but now he has to set it up for maybe another lap.
4th place, right here. Watch Harris Devane in the 33, out a little, and here comes Steele down the inside. Got himself a spot.
That car's working really good all around through the corners. Looks like, I guess the mandatory yellow will be out in 1 or 2 more laps, so I don't know if Tim's going to pit. I think he'll stay out now. He's running 4th, and another lap or 2, and he'll definitely close in on Perry Tripp.
The next time that the leaders come by the start-finish line is when we'll see that mandatory caution. Number 94 of Barfield now making it around Donnie Paul, so he's continuing to pick off positions.
Caution coming down. This is the automatic, the technical caution period. That'll give them a chance to get this field together. So we're at halfway. Automatic caution if you want to come in. Let's see if anybody's going to gamble it. You know, with these, 4 cautions to date, that is not going to be as consequential as it might have been earlier. The consequence, if they had been running straight through, this would have been a big blessing, not the way it's working out at the present time.
Well, Bob Hill has track position, so I don't think he's going to pit.
But he did pit earlier, didn't he, for gas? So he may not pit.
We'll see. Here they come. At lap 68 when they get back to the strike.
Well,
we still have Hill out in front.
Actually, still anybody that's using any type of race strategy will wait till the end of the yellow
to bring it on in.
Yeah, to bring it on in. We weren't going to pit at lap 67. If we were going to pit at this session here, we were going to wait till about lap 75 before we'd end up pitting.
Well, the chess game goes on as they come by the front of pit road, and everyone's looking to see if someone's going to duck down, but nope, it's going to just continue here as we'll have a freight train going around the speedway.
Tell us about Rob Hill.
Bob Hill?
Bob Hill.
Yeah, Bob is a great race car driver. He's got 4 wins in his career in the ARCA Bondo Marhite Series. But I'll tell you what, every time we go to a dirt track race, he's either on the pole or the outside pole, because that's where he came from. His experience comes in the Midwest, and he was former champion in the Busch All-Star Series out there, and they run a lot in Iowa, out in the Midwest. But he's also had some good runs on the speedways.
Yeah, he's had a couple of seconds, but I'm really impressed. He's showing a lot of cool out here. Doesn't seem to get flustered. Got a lot of folks around.
He makes me real proud when he runs good on those dirt tracks, because those are my short track cars that he's driving.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you get it done on dirt and switch to asphalt. Boy, you've really done a day's work. Here he is leading now, and he's done well throughout this. That's not that easy an adjustment to make.
He's an excellent versatile driver. I mean, he's run excellent on the dirt tracks and the short tracks. And his speedway program is, he's a top 5 speedway team everywhere we go. So definitely a good team.
Well, they ran second at Atlanta last year, and this year they had the pole at Pocono, a track you wouldn't think that would be his best. But here they come down the pit road.
And they blow my whole strategy. Everybody comes down pit road on lap 69.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, Venturini says, no, they're going to wait 4 or 5.
Now, Perry Tripp stayed out, though, number 6. He's still on the racetrack, so he'll take the lead. And Ken, this goes right back to the season-long points championship, because he'll pick up points for leading the race.
Let's go to Shauna Robbins.
Okay, Bob Hill's in here. The car's a little tight. They're going to make a little chassis adjustment, and then do 4 tires, gas, and go. Okay, now
and Andy Thurman in the 20 car right behind Hill. As Shauna mentioned earlier, definitely an all-star crew. Billy Wilburn, Earl Barbin, they changed 4 tires and took a pound out of the right front. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, the 16, Tim Steele, who was not going to come in under this yellow flag, remember what we were told, just came in under that yellow flag and left. Perry Tripp, meanwhile, your leader, he is going to stay out there and ride, not to collect the points, but to try and get more fuel to run to the end. Their strategy, put fuel in it right at the end of this stop. They won't have to stop again, make it all the way to the end. They've made it so far, 69 laps, without putting fuel in that number 6 car.
Well,
he's the only one that...
let me turn to the experts here.
I don't think he can go that. I don't care if he comes in on lap 76 or not. I don't think he can run the whole second half of the race on that. Now, granted, he said he ran 69 laps without coming in for fuel the first time, but there were a lot of cautions. He's coming in now, so that kind of blows his whole strategy again. He's coming in on lap 70, so he's going to have to pit one more time, because we're not going to have as many cautions in the second half.
So 134 is the distance. We're at 69, and Shauna can tell us a bit more about the story on that Bob Hill, number 46, which has been leading over the past several laps, as we watch the number 6 back in, Perry Tripp. Shauna?
Yeah, I spoke with Joe Lax, the crew chief for Bob Hill, and he said they actually had a good stop. They did 4 tires, a little bit of chassis adjustment. They were a little tight. Put a little fuel in and right back out. He said they basically had a good stop, but right next door to him was Andy Thurman with that all-pro Miller Texaco team, and he said they just kind of made us look bad, but we really had a good stop.
Ken, the big winner on the pit stop series there was Dill Whittemore. He came in 14th and went out in 3rd position. They may have only changed 2 tires. Maybe we can get an update on that. But Perry Tripp and Dill Whittemore are also locked into a good point battle. Whittemore is 6th and Perry Tripp is 7th in the current Arcabondo Marhide Series points. So, again, I think that may have been point strategy as much as it was for fuel.
Well, we've got ourselves 70 laps. We're more than halfway in the event. We're going to have another result from the back of the field on this one by some of the top runners in it. And it sure is exciting to watch them as they blister this 1.5 miles on their effort to get back to the top. Okay. Need a new standing board when we come back.
Bill Venturini?
Yeah, Dick.
Just talked to the 16 crew chief, and he said the reason that they pitted right there is they, too, are going to try to go to the end. So it may not seem possible, but at least these 2 teams pitted side by side are going to, at least they say they're going to try. ARCA guys wouldn't lie to me, would they, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I told you the only 2 I felt that could go to whole distance was Tim Steele. What, they came in at what, lap 70?
Yeah.
That gives him what, 69?
They were in on 69.
69.
69.
Okay, so it gives him 6. Well, yeah, and he come out on lap 70. So he's got only 64 laps. He may be able to do 64 laps.
Yeah, we could maybe play with this in the second half and build a little tension on it. I think it's real. I mean, I don't know if these guys can make it. I don't think they do either.
Like there won't be another caution.
Like there probably will be 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's why I said the strategy doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Hey, Hood was up almost 43. They didn't check on this. It doesn't sound good.
No.
Whittemore's at the other end.
Somebody's got their finger in front of the camera.
Back with you at Charlotte, North Carolina in the First Plus Financial 200 for ARCA cars. As we get down here to the last half of this race, we have a new leader with Dill Whittemore out in front. And Dill Whittemore is the guy of the moment. There is Tim Steele. He's back in the 6th spot. In the 8th spot is Ron Barfield. Tim Steele in that 6th position with number 16. Is it tough to race at night on a 1.5 mile track like this, Tim?
The cars changed quite a bit from day to night here, but as far as out there driving, you can see so good. They've done such a good job with the lighting that it's really hard to tell that you're running at night. Unlike a lot of the short tracks that you go to, there's dark spots and light spots. You know, they've definitely done a good job with the lighting.
They sure have. This is a marvel, this track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And soon we'll get to see the Texas Speedway. That's going to be a beauty and open in 1997. There's your rundown with Dill Whittemore, the Indiana driver, in front. Andy Thurman will be in 2nd. They're showing Tim Steele. I don't know that I would totally agree with. Yeah, in all of these pit stops, now they've moved Tim Steele up to 3rd.
I tell you, I feel really sorry, Bill, for number 46, Bob Hill. He just lost $1,000. You know how?
Oh, the halfway.
He races to the halfway as the leader, and that is sponsored by Auto Value Auto Parts, but his sponsor on the car is Advanced Auto Parts, so they don't run the sticker, so he just threw $1,000 out the window.
Yeah, well, does the 2nd place guy get it?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm sure the Advanced Auto Parts deals enough where he ain't too concerned about it.
Bob Hill will be in 4th, and there is Barfield in 5th as we get ready for a go, and 3rd spot is now Steele. That's as we get them shook out and get ready to go racing once again. Well, there you see Ron Barfield. Will the ARCA race help you with the Busch race that you're going to run in, the Grand National race on Saturday here at Charlotte, Ron?
Well, I think the main thing is right now is I need some track time around this place, and you know, I'm getting better with it. We come here to test with the Busch car and with the ARCA car, so you know, I've been taking advantage of all the practice time. And that's one reason why we get a race in for New Holland here, and plus it gets us me some seat time around the racetrack, plus gets them some publicity on television. So you know, it's kind of all gearing up for the Busch race this Saturday.
Ken, this is Ron Barfield's 8th race of the season. but his worst event so far this year has come right here at Charlotte. He finished 38th after crashing early back in May. So that's been his worst finish throughout the year. He had a 5th going to Daytona, 4th at Atlanta. He finished 2nd at Pocono, and he won Michigan. So he's good on the speedways, but Charlotte hasn't been great to him.
Yeah, what a nice guy that Ron Barfield is. I've really had time to sit and talk with him this week. And I was teasing him a little because of his southern accent, but just a super nice guy. You can tell that this isn't getting to him. I'm glad to see that. A lot of times a driver, when they get to success, being Bill Elliott's protege, sometimes you'd think it would hurt somebody. Didn't affect him at all. Really nice guy.
That's Barfield. That's number 94, and he's still going to be heard from, we believe, before this one's over. Big time up in front in this battle.
Super speedway racing is what he's really looking to capitalize on, Ken. But guess where he was Sunday afternoon? Winchester Speedway in Indiana, running an all-pro race, because that's where his roots are. He came from all-pro racing. That's how he got noticed by the Elliots. And you're right, Bill, he's a first-class guy, and he went up there, ran the all-pro race, drove all night to get back home so he could be here Monday to bring in the race car and try to qualify.
Toby Butler was part of our opening here tonight, and Toby Butler is still another guy to look and have himself a good run in that Ken Schrader car. There you see him settling in. What about it? Thrilled to run at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for a sprint car guy that is of high renown, Toby?
It's neat to be here. I mean, Charlotte, ever since you're growing up, you remember Charlotte Motor Speedway, Richard Petty and Bobby Allison, everybody running here back in the days. But it's one of those racetracks that, you got to respect it. If you don't respect it, it's going to jump up and bite you.
21st position after these pit stops is where he is, and we see the 37. That's come on to pit road. So we've got some work being done on Jimmy McCune's car, as well as Perry Tripp. Perry Tripp in the number 6 has come in again, and remember, he's been running up. They're topping that one off, trying to get everything they can. And here's that 43, young lad from Alabama.
Now they all come in on lap 75 to top off. Like I said, they should have just waited for it the first time.
Didn't want to take chances. There's Kevin Ray back in, back out again. And that motor not sounding as sound as they might wish.
Well, that was a good time for them to come in, because we'll get the 1-to-go signal the next time by. So if they come in and got the fuel right then they're going to be ahead of everyone else who pitted at the beginning of this caution period.
Steve Burns?
Yeah, I think Kevin Ray's going to have problems here the remainder of the race. They have a plug wire rubbing on a header pipe, and I'll tell you guys, they had the hood up previously, and the motor just doesn't sound right.
So there's the story on the number 43, and they're ready to go green. Pace car is in. We're ready to turn them loose and send them on their way another time. Bringing the field down on the start is Dill Whittemore III in that number 56.
Well, my mistake, Ken. They were coming for the green, not for 1 to go, but that makes their strategy even better.
I don't see Tim Steele not leading by the time we get around to the stripe on this.
Well, let's see. There he is in 3rd spot, going down the back straightaway. Got a break, got a couple extra positions as other people pitted late. There he goes, looking for the outside. He's not going to find it there.
Andy closed the door. He went up high and closed the outside lane on him.
Andy Thurman. First start since Talladega back in April. Now Thurman fades high out of turn 4. That opens the inside for Steele. Bang, he's there. Hill stays 4th. Barfield comes up into 5th.
The car that Dill Whittemore is driving, the Indiana Steele Chevrolet, finished 5th at Michigan earlier this year, so he's got a strong car. But boy, Steele is just a rocket ship coming past Thurman there, and now he moves up the challenge with Whittemore.
Whittemore in the lead, the number 56. Steele right with it. Here's Steele peeking on the inside, being patient, waiting for a shot. Takes it here, out of 4. Whittemore's not going to let him through.
Here comes Bob Hill. He just made the pass on Andy Thurman there in the number 46 car. So Steele now realizes there's some pressure coming behind. He's going to make the move.
Makes it out of 2. It's Tim Steele commanding the race another time. This at lap 78.
Yeah, Andy Thurman held off the challenge through 1 and 2 on Bob Hill, but as a matter of fact, Andy not only held off, he's going around Joe Whittemore on the outside, coming up at 4.
And all that work they've done on Barfield has put him right back in the hunt. Notice that Barfield has pulled up here. He's in the 5th spot with a number 94 and closing on Hill. Hill is red and yellow car coming by him. Bob Hill, the Indiana driver, Barfield with him. They close up on the 56. Back straightaway. Hill comes to the inside on the man that was leading as we came out of that caution period. Dill Whittemore under some pressure here. Tim Steele trying to check out. Still Whittemore holding the spot. Hill looks to the inside of the main straightaway and does not find room to do some running. Meanwhile, Barfield continues to gather momentum. Here's Barfield on the outside. Is that Standridge with him back there?
Billy Standridge, and here comes Mark Thompson in the Phoenix number 66. They had that problem earlier of running over the spring, but apparently the car is okay. It seems to be handling pretty well. As now he's back in the hunt, and a couple of cars going by Bob Hill. There went the number 78 of Standridge, and here comes Barfield. He's making a run on Dill Whittemore, and he has the pass.
So that's going to move Barfield past Whittemore, put him into third place, give him a chance to challenge Andy Thurman for second.
Well, again, this may go back to the pit strategy, Ken, because Dill Whittemore only took on 2 tires in order to get out in front of the field, but that seems to be hurting him on the racetrack.
Steele is in first. Second spot is Thurman. Barfield closing in. Barfield's had to come from the rear twice in this race, and he's got a car that he didn't have a chance to break in. Crashed the car that he put on the pole, so this one comes in untested, and he's done the testing in the first half, and now he's ready to go racing. Hill back here, and there you see Whittemore. There's that one car we were telling you about earlier today, Matt Hutter, in the Phoenix car. The one is being shown in 9th position. Right with him is that 79. In 10th is Donnie Paul. Been a good race.
Bill, when you look at a guy like Matt Hutter, he's out here for the very first time driving for James Finch. You know that's a quality race car. And here's a kid who has a lot of experience on the short tracks. He's won a couple of the Iceman Series races up in Ohio and Michigan. But the first time to be at Charlotte under the lights, that's got to be a real thrill.
Oh, he's got to be super excited. You know he's got to.
Hey, take a look, guy. Look at this move.
Move on Thurman.
Andy Thurman done a good job in second place, but now Barfield's there. Here he comes on the inside, trying to get himself a little bit of momentum on it, too. What a nice night for Andy Thurman.
Yeah, it really is, and I'll tell you what, Ken, when I talked to Andy before the race tonight, I said, that's a pretty strong race car. Any pressure on you? You've got so many laps here at Charlotte. He says, Ray, whenever I qualified, I think I pushed the driver to the max. The car may have a little bit left, but he said, I got to get comfortable with this thing, and it's a real good race car, so he wants to make sure he doesn't bend it up.
Yeah, when they were here testing, he said he wasn't running real fast, but he was just getting comfortable. That's all he needed to do because he's got enough experience here at this racetrack.
Thurman and Barfield actually picking up a little time on Tim Steele as they run nose to tail there.
But again, that's the design of this series, Bill, is to give these young drivers the experience. And a guy like Ron Barfield comes in, runs a few races, finally wins one, gets the press to notice him, and he's had a real good year. Andy Thurman would love to do the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know, Ken, you noticed, I don't know if the 2-car draft is actually catching Tim Steele or if Tim's actually just kind of putting it a little on cruise control, but the 2 cars of Andy Thurman and Barfield are definitely closing in on Tim Steele.
They picked up 2 or 3 cars. They picked up more than that.
I'm not sure if Tim's going to let him run up on him as much as... If they're going to catch him like it looks like they are, Tim may be slowing down.
Does drafting play a part here, Bill?
Oh, definitely. Everyone says Charlotte's a downforce track. It's force drafting at 180 miles an hour, 190 miles an hour. Any type of drafting helps.
Well, Barfield is certainly using Thurman and using him well as the two of them. Here's the 94 Barfield moving to the outside, scooping in a little air as he goes down into turn number 3, and it stabilizes there between first, second, and third. Ron Barfield, what a wild night he's had.
Yeah, he's had to go to the back 3 or 4 times because of his pitting. He's trying to put a move inside of Andy. I don't know if he's actually faster or not. If he's substantially faster, he should go by him. If he's not, he should probably just tuck in behind him and see if they can draft up to
stay with him.
Because you can see as Barfield was trying to pass Andy Thurman and kept breaking the draft with him, Tim's actually pulled away another couple car lengths now.
Now, the next factor that
We've got
comes
him
up,
coming
Bill,
off before, though.
is there's traffic coming up in front of the leader. Gary Weinbrower in the number 75 and running up there with David Hall, and Sherry Minter, the only lady in the field tonight. Steele's going to catch them down the back straightaway and maybe in
blown engine. That is Mark Stahl going up in smoke, and that's going to bring out our 6th caution of the program as Mark Stahl has to retire. Lap 89. Yellow is on the track once again in the First Plus Financial 200.
I got you. Burns. Steve. Or Dick.
Yeah, this is Dick. Go ahead.
Yeah, is anyone over by Tim Steele's pit?
Not anymore.
Okay. I'm just wondering if they're going to pit
at the 94.
Okay. Are they
going to 16?
Are they going to pit this time?
They're going to pit for scuff.
Yeah, they're going to. This is their security blanket right now.
They had a blister tire on the first set that they took off.
On which car?
The 16.
Ah, a front or a rear?
Hey, Sean, are you at the 16?
They've only run 14 laps under green since the restart, so...
Yeah, but that don't mean
He
anything.
scuffed the right rear earlier. Either he's going to stop and put scuffs on so they can go the distance.
They blistered the right rear earlier.
He must have been on green tires.
Everybody staying on the speedway out here. We get ready for another go. What's the story on tires, fellas?
Yeah, well, we heard that Tim Steele, on his first set of tires that he took off, that he had blistered the right rear tire. I was talking to him before the race, and he was not worried about it. But, you know, he had probably qualified on stickers, and he only had one lap on him, and he didn't scuff in any tires, so he started the race on the one-lap scuffs, and he was probably running a little loose and started to blister the tire. So we kind of hear that he may be coming in just to change the right rear tire, put on some scuffs so he can finish the race without any problems.
Scuffs?
Yeah, I don't think it really matters right now the way his car's handling. He could finish on scuffs or stickers because, you know, he's got to go 40 more laps. So,
boy, the way that's the tires that they were ready to throw on there on Tim Steele.
Definitely not sticker tires, Bill.
No, that's definitely not a sticker. But I mean, is that what they're going to put on his car when he comes in?
Let's see.
Let's even see if he comes in. Yeah, he's coming in.
He sure is.
Yeah. He's the only one.
Steve Burns can tell us more.
Yeah, I just talked to Tom Sokolowski, and he held up 4 fingers indicating that they were going to change 4 tires, and they definitely are scuffs. Of course, they will also top off with gas. Now, again, Tim Steele was so dominant here in May. They changed the right side tires without a problem. Tim Steele gets a drink of water, they top off the gas, and they do come around to the driver's side of the car. Again, these are scuffed tires. So far, so good. Steele throws the cup out the window. Routine pit stop.
Yeah, in case anyone's wondering why they put on the scuffs and what the difference is between a sticker tire and a scuff tire, is that when you get a brand new tire, we call them stickers because there's a sticker on them. It's a green tire. The chemicals in them haven't been actually heated up or moved around, so to speak. And they have a tendency that you have to go through a heat cycle. If you go out and you scuff the tires in and you get the tires up to maybe about 120, 130 degrees, the tire, it goes through a heat cycle. Then what happens is when you take it off and you cool it back down, you put it back on the car, it doesn't get as greasy, it doesn't blister, because it's gone through its first heat cycle. 90% of the time when you blister a tire, it's because you put on a sticker, the heat cycle never got to cool back down. It went straight from, 60 or 70 degrees up to 250 degrees, because that's about how hot they get. And what happens is the rubber starts to peel off. It needs that one heat cycle to actually, you can bring it right back up to 250 and it doesn't hurt. I think putting on scuffs right now was a good shot. He's got 40 laps to go. He's pitted. He's got gas to finish the race. Why take the chance on blistering another tire? Because he's got the dominant car. I'd go with the same thing. I'd go with 2 or 3. I guess he had 4 lap scuffs.
20 laps, 20 cars in that lead lap, and that's going to put him back to 20. It gives up the track's position, but he certainly proved he can come through. Dick Bertrand can tell us more.
Well, one of the other guys who has proven he can come through is Barfield, who has come from the back to the front, to the back to the front. Right now, he's right up front with Russ Bales, his crew chief. We just watched Tim Steele do a pit stop for tires. What's your strategy from here on?
Our strategy is just to go ahead and try to make it all the way on what we've got, because I think it's going to be tough for him to get through all the lap cars, and we just got free running room, and our car seems to work better when, you know, it's by itself or we haven't been in the lead, but it will be better by itself or in the lead. So we're going to gamble and go for it.
Have you got that shock absorber bottoming problem fixed?
No, not really. It's better, but it's kind of like putting the Band-Aid over a bullet hole. You just can't fix it.
Well, they tried. Going green.
Russell Greer in that 34 car running in 21st position. You saw on the bottom of the frame. We're underway. Got everybody straight up, headed out. And on this restart, you have Ron Barfield in front. The second position car belongs to Andy Thurman. And running third as they trip on down the backstretch should be the number 78 of Billy Stanbridge. There's Steele coming up through once again.
Well, he just passed 2-time ARCA Bondo Marhide champion Bobby Bowser in car number 21. He's around them. A couple of slow cars to the inside. Now he moves up on Mark Gibson in car number 59. On his way down the front stretch, now he has to decide, am I going to go to the inside or outside? Well, there's Brock Hall, so he says, I'll try the outside.
Yeah, follow Mark Gibson through 1 and 2, and then try to put a move on him down the back straightaway.
To 15th position comes number 16 Steele. Here's Toby Butler into 52, running in 5th spot. Battle to third begins to heat up. Barfield brings it on by out in front. Thurman is in second. There's that 66 running a good stout third. Mark Thompson back in this big time. He's into third, and now Toby Butler fourth.
I'm sure Tim Steele's using some patience here, but he has not moved up on Mark Gibson. Perry Tripp right in front of them, and so far we haven't seen him to be able to be quite as fast as he was before.
And you can see it. He was, before I don't know if the tires are actually slowing him down or if he's just waiting it out. Because he is trying to get through traffic, and you've got to be cautious here because he's coming up on some slower cars. Seems like every time he tries to put a move on Mark Gibson, somebody's in front of him, so he's got to wait and go through the lap cars or a slow car before
he did just blast by Perry Tripp that time, so maybe that's not the case.
Mark Gibson had himself a second at Daytona 2 years back. Look at Steele now breaking through, time running out. 98 laps completed, 134 this time by. Barfield drawing away by over a second. Challenge is on for second place. Thurman is under a lot of pressure as they go into turn number 1. Mark Thompson is there with him. Back straightaway and continuing to draw away is Barfield. I'll take a look at this as you see how they're deployed around the track. That's Barfield out of 4 in the front running position. Coming right with him, Andy Thurman, about a second back. And then you see that 66 of Mark Thompson is there, followed by Toby Butler.
Yeah, and as we were watching that, through the middle of 3 and 4, Tim Steele went right underneath Mark Gibson now, so he's closing in on Donnie Paul.
And it's 7 seconds between that leader, Bill, and where we're watching Tim Steele run.
Let's keep a little track on it and see if Tim's closing it up or if Barfield's pulling away.
We're going to take a quick break and be back as we watch Ron Barfield commanding. Healthy lead right now, second plus over Thurman in second spot. And that's all it took for the 66 to decide to go by. Yeah. We can show it again.
Did you see what happened? He went down under the white line and got totally sideways going through the corner. he did a four-wheel slide.
We had a close call and had another one right now.
Toby Butler got a piece of Thurman.
And Mark Thompson went under Toby. Did you see him do a four-wheel slide? Chased it all the way up the racetrack. I don't think Steele's closing in on him. He's going to need a yellow.
He got a little back.
Did he?
You keeping track of it? Huh?
A tenth
He's getting
of
about a tenth.
Yeah, that ain't going to get it. He needs the yellow.
Ooh, look at this. Toby's going to give it another shot on Thurman. Oh, good thing for me. Battle for third spot. Here's Thurman in the 20, and Toby Butler in the 52.
They've been going at it for the last 5 laps, just swapping sides.
Toby Butler got into the back of number 20 pretty good there once. Here he comes trying again.
And here's Matt Hutter in car number 1 back behind watching these guys swip and swap positions there, and he's saying, man, I hope they don't crash in front of me because I'm not sure what I'll do.
Again, Toby Butler looks to the inside. Whoop, at 07. Running very slowly. Frankie Spradlin, back marker. And he was the blocker down there that time. Here's the 46 and 78, and this has been a good scramble as well.
Ken, right as they had that last caution, the 46 car of Bob Hill, and it's Bob Hill, or no, that is the 30.
Like you said, Hutter hit him. There was nowhere he could
Andy Thurman in car number 20, and Toby made the contact there, and a lot of damage to both of those cars.
The battle that we were looking at for a moment was the 46 to 78 back there in 15th. We came back up here just as Toby Butler gets into the 26. Thurman goes up in the wall, and it takes the one of Matt Hutter as well. That Phoenix race car destroyed up on the outside with the 8th caution coming at lap 106. Take another look at what happened.
You can see they go into the corner. Toby tries to go underneath him, and he tags him just into his left rear.
Patience is certainly a virtue, but the race is winding down now as we head towards lap 134. And Toby had looked at him a couple of different places on the track, but boy, what a tough break for number 20, Andy Thurman, and number 1, Matt Hutter.
Andy Thurman had really done an outstanding job in this race. He gets collected, turned around, and there's Hutter into him. Pokes him in the back, slams his nose into the wall, and at 175 miles an hour, there's a lot of work to be done on that number 20 car.
Yeah, the Matt Hutter car, I mean, I feel sorry for the kid. Young kid, first big super speedway race. Not his fault. Nowhere he could go. And like Ray has said, we were talking about it a few laps before that. You knew if there was going to be a wreck, he had nowhere to go. He was kind of in a position, what do I do? Do I back up? No, you don't want to back up because you lose track position. So you got to just kind of hang in there when you know the guys in front of you are battling and swapping paint, and you just hope that if something happens, you miss it.
Well, just before the crash happened, we had been looking at Bob Hill and Billy Standridge. As I was starting to say, those two had pitted at the very end of the cycle on the last one, and they had a really slow start back out, so they were way back in the field, actually on the tail, but they were moving up through. So we'll see if those cars are able to continue to march through the field. But 2 of them out of the race right now, the 1 and car 20.
Well, this is the yellow that Tim Steele needed because we were keeping track on the difference between Ron Barfield and Tim Steele, and Tim was not closing it in enough to catch Barfield by the end of the race. He was only gaining maybe a tenth of a second a lap. This helps him a whole bunch.
He's in 5th spot. Toby Butler just there in front of him on this restart. Toby may have taken a little damage, but nothing like what was administered to the Thurman car as well as to Matt Hutter. We're going to see on this restart Barfield with the advantage, but no longer 7 seconds over that 16. They're closed right up.
Well, I don't know how much more luck Toby Butler has left in him. That was the second one tonight that he got involved in and still didn't wreck the race car.
But in addition to Steele closing up on the field, he also has 2 less cars that he has to pass now.
Yeah.
So here's Tim Steele looking at a chance for another win. What's he at, 10 wins this season?
10 this season, and, you know, that is a career mark for most drivers. We showed you that graphic earlier comparing him to Jeff Gordon, and, you know, it's really hard to imagine winning 10 races in the year. There have also been 8 other drivers, Ken, that have gone to victory lane this season, so there have been a lot of drivers who've had some success this year. Bobby Bowser winning 3, Frank Kimmel has won 3. Toby Butler winning his first career race this year earlier at Salem Speedway, but Steele has certainly been the dominating factor.
When we get ready for resumption of the race, we'll have Barfield in first. And now the challenger in second spot is Mark Thompson. Done an outstanding job thus far.
Hope I didn't jinx those guys.
You think you did?
No, because earlier I told Pam, I said, Pam, keep the camera on the first 4 cars with Bob Dorn over. I said, there's going to be a wreck. They immediately went to 3 and then they did it was a wreck. No, I'm not saying nothing about it. We were just saying, Ray said he hoped he didn't jinx it. He said, no, you can see what's happening, especially from up here. You can definitely tell where the next wreck's going to be. I can hear it.
Ron Barfield out in front. We'll have Mark Thompson in second place. Harris Devane is running third, and that number 33. And then you have Toby Butler to fourth, and Tim Steele in fifth. You're at lap 109 when they come around, and we're getting down towards another green flag restart here in this Automobile Racing Club of America event. Looking further back, you see Perry Tripp there in 6th spot.
Yeah, the 7th place car, number 79, Donnie Paul, he just down pit road run getting on some tires, so he must have felt he ran over something because he didn't really need the gas because he had pitted earlier.
17 cars remain in the lead lap as we get down to the end of this one. So Barfield had a breather. Darn near 7 seconds. Here you see that 20 coming in. That's a sad moment for a guy who really put on a great show tonight. Andy Thurman, 1 to go, and they're going to turn him loose. 1 to go. Great for Andy Thurman, who really demonstrated a lot of prowess out here.
Ken, talk about Ron Barfield, though. Now, here is a guy, sets the track record on the pole, crashes the car, and they go to a backup car. He didn't get any laps of practice, and he's really impressing me today.
What do you mean he didn't get any practice? He had 70 laps before he got to halfway.
Yeah, he did use the first half of the race to readjust.
He got it all adjusted. Now he's put it right up in front.
But that's a tribute to his team. I mean, you know, you're working with a first-class operation. A good team is expected to do that. You should be able to roll a backup car out of the trailer and run competitive. I'm not saying you should be leading the race like he's doing right now, but a good
he's
team.
leading.
Yeah, I know, but a good team will get a car and run up in the lead pack.
Plus, the top 4 cars that are up there right now all have Ernie Elliott motors in them, so you got 4 Fords. Yeah, Ernie's got some pretty strong stuff there.
See, I thought it was that New Holland Baylor that was up in front there.
No, it was quite obvious that Ernie's got some strong motors because when we were here last night in our last practice session, you could see the Fords. The 4 Fords were definitely the strongest cars there, and we got to do our homework with the Chevys to keep up with them.
Mark Thompson, can he mix it up with these guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Mark has shown a lot of maturity this year on the super speedways. When he first came to racing, he spun quite a few times, crashed in front of the field a few times, and everybody was a little bit scared of what he was going to do. This year, he has shown that he has definitely matured as a driver.
He's right there in that black, white numeral number 66.
The Midway Island sponsored race car.
And that 33, Harris Devane, good steady racer.
Yeah, he's
get it done.
Last year had Talladega won on the last lap run out of gas.
Oh, wasn't that a heartbreaker? That brings tears to your eyes. Pace car is in. We're ready to go. It'll be lap 110 as they take green. Lap 110 as they come down to take green. So with 24 laps to go, can Tim Steele wend his way back up into the front of this thing? He's done it on 2 occasions, and here he comes.
That yellow sure helped him. I mean, he closed up a good 5, 6 seconds by having the yellow.
But Barfield is pulled away by 5 car lengths, and still Tim Steele has yet to move out of the back of this quintet. Here you see him in the 16. He's right there on Toby Butler, down to the inside. Gets 4. Closes in on Harris Devane in the number 33.
Harris Devane, one of the co-rookies of the year last year in the Arcabando Marhide Series. The first time in the 43-year history of that organization that there's been co-rookies. Harris Devane and the driver of the number 56 car, Dill Whittemore, won that award, and they certainly were deserving of it. He's holding Steele up a little bit right now, though, and it appears that Tim Steele is going to make contact with Devane. He's crazy on the front stretch, and he gets it under control.
I can't believe he kept it going in the same line.
And Devane says, "What are you doing back there?"
And Tim Steele slips right down through, gets under Toby Butler, and finds himself in 3rd spot.
Well,
but big distance to make up.
Oh, boy, let's see if we can get another look
at this save.
Devane is slowing up Tim Steele, no question about it, but Steele got a little bit antsy there. He may have made a move that he shouldn't have, but boy, for both of those cars to get it back under control, good driving for Harris Devane and Tim Steele.
You just saw a wreck that didn't happen.
Yeah, that definitely got the heart beating an extra beat.
Tell you what, up in front.
Oh, there's a wreck in
trouble in 4 or 5 cars, 6, 7 cars collected. The number 37 of Jimmy McCune is involved in this one. A wheel has come off of a race car.
Del McCoward's car has crashed. They've torn that one all up. And
23 car. Donnie Paul in the 79.
Just as we talk about patience, someone maybe not using patience, and a lot of debris on the racetrack now as the leaders come by.
Well, now there's 114 complete as we're back under caution another time. Barfield in first. In second remains Mark Thompson. Take a look at that. That's the remains. It looks like a battlefield up here in turn 4 from this latest incident, which has destroyed 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4, perhaps 5 cars. Another look at what just took place in turn 4.
Well, Jimmy McCune is the first car you see there, and it appears the car running up on him, not quite sure who that is
tell if
yet.
he touched him or not. It was
Bingo.
Mark Gibson?
Yeah, Gibson taps the back of McCune, sending him spinning. Donnie Paul's number 79 goes sideways. Glenn Brewer in car number 10 slams into McCune, and backing into him right there is the number 23 car driven by Ron Cox.
Del McCoward's number 0 caught in it later, came all the way down the main straightaway. Now take another look right here.
You were right, Bill. No contact there.
It just kind of took the air off the spoiler.
Great camera work there as McCune just gets loose a little bit, slides sideways. Del McCoward, of course, was involved in that, and he sits sideways on the front stretch. But, boy, Brewer really made a big hit on the backside of McCune.
So the safety crew's out here. Another angle is we've got a quick look at another angle here. Speed camera giving us this shot.
Bobby Bowser makes it through there, gets by with no problem. Of course, Gibson keeps going. We saw Bob Hill and Kevin Ray making it through the fracas there, but 1, 2, 3, it appears 5 cars damaged heavily in this accident.
Del McCoward not out of his car yet, and they've got some EMTs down there with him, as you see, number 0.
I saw his hand moving, so that's a good sign. Yeah, he's taking his helmet off, so that's a good sign.
Delma called in on the radio, evidently, and told him he needed a little bit of oxygen, so that's why the EMTs went there quickly.
Jimmy McCune's car here being worked on. Jimmy McCune's number 37, and the paramedics are right there for Del McCoward. He gets himself back together after he took a hard hit. He was late into the wreck. And here you look back up the track at some more of the debris and the remains from a very, very hard hit.
Well, you know, when you get to be our age and you hit the wall that hard, you know, like a guy like Del McCoward.
Your age.
You're my age. Okay, when you hit the wall that hard, it kind of knocks the wind out of you, let me tell you.
We'll take a look at the damage here that Jimmy McCune has sustained on that number 37. Front and rear flip, they look like they've been bruised on that one.
S&K Machinery is the sponsor on that car, Ken, but you'd never know it by looking at it. And boy, Delma Coward's car is really smashed in on the front end.
Delma being helped as he steps away from that car. And he's walking, but he's not sure what street he's on.
Not sure he'll be playing the piano tonight.
Yeah, I guess he's got a Cup car here for the
Yes,
Cup
he does.
race for this weekend.
Yeah, he was out here
I don't know
trying
if
to
he's gonna be able
qualify,
to-
but he took an awful look there.
That's Glenn Brewer's car number 10 there. Brewer from Columbus, Georgia. Can't tell if he's out of the car
Yeah,
yet.
he's already been
okay,
out
so
of the
Glenn's
car.
out of the race car. Delma's out. So
It
that's
seems
a
like
good
everybody's
sign.
okay.
Brother of Tim Brewer there, Glenn Brewer. They're trying to
Yeah,
get down. And take a
Glenn-
look at and that car was really working. This 79 tonight. Donnie Paul had a good run
Good
going.
run. Ran in the top 10 towards the end of the race. Glenn Brewer, I guess, bad week for him. He wrecked both his cars. Was it the 09, the 9 car that was his other car?
Yeah, that's Kurt Piercy was driving the 9 car.
So they continue to work up here, pick up these cars that have just crashed in turn 4, and that brought about our, 8th, 9th caution out here tonight. Check that one out. Gets us up to 9. 9 cautions have been thrown in this race, and take another look in real time at this incident.
Well, you can see the back end of the car just clipped Donnie Paul.
Boy, Ron Cox does a great job sliding the car sideways to try to miss that, but as McCune comes back across the racetrack, there's nowhere to go.
Tell you, Glenn Brewer's car, he had no place to go and get caught there.
Listen to this one.
Here they come.
Tires coming off. Shambles out of Glenn Brewer's car just coming beneath that camera. Some of the remains from the others. There's Delma Coward's car up on the rollback. Tough night for him. So we're down to 116 laps as they bring in the battered and the bruised. We still have Ron Barfield in front, and you have Steele coming back. That was the confrontation you expected all night, and it's developing that it's going to be a short shootout to decide it between 3 of them, and the guy in the midst of that sandwich will be the number 66 driver, and that is Mark Thompson.
Well, this certainly changes the fuel mileage question. There's not going to be any strategy here as we're at lap 117. Delma Cowart, his car going to the garage area. Brewer and the 79 car, Donnie Paul, definitely out. Now, Ron Cox in car number 23, he slid backwards, made a little bit of contact there, but I don't think there was enough damage to take him out of the race. We'll see if he's able to restart.
Does this come out as a more difficult track? You had a lot of cautions when you came here in May. You think about the shows we've seen in the past several years down at Daytona. Here's the top 10 for you folks after 117 laps. At Talladega and Daytona, they have not been so fraught with problems as we've seen here. Does that tell you that learning this track, the ripples down here in 1 and the ripples up here in 3 and 4? What do you think, Bill
I've
Venturini?
run every super speedway track that they run, and I got to tell you, this one is different. I don't know what it is about this track. I've had problems here. It's not my favorite racetrack, and it's 1 and 2. The difference in the corners is night and day. You run through down the front straightaway, you go to 1 and 2, the car just sticks forever. Like you almost feel like you never have to lift. Then you go in the middle of 3 and 4, and you almost don't know what the car is going to do. I don't know if it's just the way the banking is, the way the sun beats on it, and now like we're racing at night, the sun has no effect on it. But as you come out of that, actually just you're coming through 4, the racetrack changes angle, and it kind of flattens out just a little, and it just upsets the car enough that if you're not tight, you're in trouble. And the problem is you can't tell setting up the car, like, the driver gets in and the banking holds the car so good in the corners that you're actually, and your tire temperatures, you look at them, they show you're loose. The driver comes in and says, the car's pushing, the car's tight. What's actually happening is the car is still loose, the driver can't feel it. When he feels the car loose,
it's over.
Too late.
It's too late.
In addition to that, Ken, at Daytona and Talladega, most of the drivers get there and say, put it to the floor and go as fast as you can. But here, braking comes into play, and with the difference in the field here, a lot of slower cars in front of the leaders now and then, you got to use the brakes, and that's set up some of these situations.
Good point, Ray Dunlap. Thank you, Bill Venturini. We'll be back. They're just about ready for resumption. We'll be here to watch it. They get ready to conclude the First Plus Financial 200. 13 laps remain to decide it. There's a lap or two before they're going to crank them up and put them on the green flag condition again here to see how this will be resolved between Ron Barfield, currently out in front, and the number 66 of Mark Thompson in second, that black and white car, and then Tim Steele in third. 54 laps of yellow have been one of the big stories here in this race. A period of 54 laps under yellow 9 different times. And we can get more from Dick Berggren about strategy as we get down to these final moments.
Well, I just made a lap at the pits here, Ken, and I talked to Mark Thompson's crew and asked them if they can do anything with Barfield. They said, yes, we can. In the 16 pit, Tim Steele's pit, they say yes, but only if we get some laps. Timmy Cahuth, meanwhile, crew chief of the 52, Toby, says, man, that's a minefield out there. I don't know what we can do.
Well, there's Toby Butler back there in fourth spot. He's been a factor in that fine field tonight for sure, and just behind him is Harris Devane in the 33, giving a fine account of himself in this event. Let's see if they're going to mark him off for one more lap to turn him loose here. What do you think? No,
I think
still got some safety equipment out here, Bill.
They're going to still.
So what's going to happen with Tim Steele? Here's a guy that's already won 10 races. You're down to the last two, this one and the one in Atlanta. Do you see him staying in ARCA another year? Any talk about him moving in another direction?
Oh, definitely. He's said that he wants to run Winston Cup next year. He's ready. The team's ready. They're just waiting to see if they can find a good sponsor to help finance the operation. If not, I think he may stay in ARCA and run one more year. But he's ready.
Because before he wasn't. He made the move one time and it didn't work out for him, and he admitted that it was premature.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, somebody asked me that not too long ago. Well, how come he didn't do it before? There's a maturity factor here, and he wasn't ready. And I passed that point of it. Tim, he wasn't ready when he moved up, and I think now him and his team, because if you're going to do it and you're not going to drive for an established team and you're going to bring your own team in, it's not just the driver or the finances that needs to be ready. Your whole team has to be ready. That's why he's winning a championship this year. He's got the whole package, and what he wants to do for next year is take that whole package and move it towards the Cup.
Well, Dick Berggren spent some time with him today, and Dick, your comments here would be helpful.
That's pretty much exactly what Tim Steele said. His problem, however, Ken, is like the problem of so many race drivers, sponsorship. He is going to go to the Daytona 500 and run as many races as he can beyond that with his own family basically funding the car. H&S Tool is a family company, but they know they cannot fund a Winston Cup operation all the way through a 1997 season. So he's kind of showcasing his talents this year and has done a terrific job of it and is just looking for that terrific sponsor to go along with his terrific driving.
Yeah, that HSI, that's Harold Steele Die Company. Great company he has up in Michigan. But, like Dick said, to fund a Winston Cup team takes millions of dollars. You can run an ARCA program for a tenth of that. Tim has had a good budget to race with this year, but I know his father's not in a position to fund a full Winston Cup program.
Let's take a moment right now. We saw Del McCowart looked a little saggy in the legs when he came out of number 0. So there might be some folks concerned. Shauna Robinson can fill us in on that. Shauna?
Okay, I spoke with Jim Broom, and he said that Delma is okay. They were thinking he may have a broken rib, but that's not been confirmed. He's okay. And also Jimmy McCune in the 37 car, he's out walking around, is okay. We've got a lot of torn-up race cars down here, but thankfully no tore-up drivers.
That's good news. Thank you, Shauna. All right, we're settling down, getting ready to put this one back. I think this time by they're going to show them one lap and kick them out of here.
Well, as Sean had said, a tribute to the car builders and the chassis builders in this circuit. Well, we use Winston Cup chassis, same thing as the Winston Cup guys do. And the chassis are built to, you don't ever want to really test them out with crashing and wrecking them, but you know, it shows that they're building a good, safe car that can take a 180-mile-an-hour crash. And at least the driver can walk away with it from it.
So as they come by here, we're just about set to go. Let's check our cars in the lead lap. Ray Dunlap has had to skedaddle here and with us, and we really appreciate he who represents ARCA on all their races and doing their public relation. And let's see, as we get set on this restart, we will show 13, call it 13 cars in the lead lap. And we're just about set to take green. Look, there you see the standings. Well, no, we've got another person here besides Venturini who tell us about crashing at Charlotte. Shauna?
Unfortunately, I guess if I'm going to talk about Charlotte, I can talk about crashing. There has been a few times here that I've been taken to the hospital and not broken anything, but Charlotte is a place that when you get hit hard, kind of like Atlanta, and it's a tricky racetrack, and, you know, it does go to show that these race cars are built really good, because a lot of drivers have walked away from some hard crashes at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And particularly tonight, Shauna. Yeah, we've seen that happen several times and seen cars collected. And you think of that Blaise Alexander wreck and watching Glenn Brewer down here a moment ago, absolutely no place to go but into it. And he was able to take the blow and able to walk away from that car. Amazing.
Well, 9 laps to go. Let's see if even Perry Tripp's running up there in 6th. Let's see what everyone's got.
All right, this is it for all of it. 125 complete as they come to the line, 9 to go, and Barfield gets a great leap on the start. He goes out there by about 4 car lengths. Ron Barfield getting a tremendous jump on Mark Thompson. Now down to the inside, trying to nuzzle his way down on that bottom and pick up a spot as Steele. Here comes Steele into 2nd place. He's there, and he goes looking for Barfield. Well, this is what we waited for the whole race, and we're down to it. 8 laps to go, this time by Barfield leading. He's got a 12-15 car length advantage.
Well, that restart definitely gave Barfield at least a 2 or 3 lap cushion, even before Tim Steele, if he can even catch him, is going to take 2 or 3 laps even to come close. But it looks like Barfield's been able to keep the distance.
Tries to sustain that lead all the way down. Barfield, such a good driver. Shown patience. And remember, he talked about that at the outset. That's what he had to do. Well, now as he got the power to stay, Steele cuts him down. Takes two car lengths back as they came out of 4 that time. Coming along just as nicely, Toby Butler. Meanwhile, back there in 5th is the number 33 of Harris Devane. He's having a great ride. In the 6th spot, it remains Perry Tripp.
It looks like Tim is closing up a little on Ron Barfield.
Down to 4. Getting close in the back straightaway. One thing to catch him, it's another thing to get by them. Tim Steele now showing lots of power. He comes after. There will be 129 complete this time at the line.
Yeah, you can see Tim's definitely pushing hard.
128.
He's using the whole racetrack right now to run down Barfield.
Got him. Closes in. Steele there. Barfield taking that line so gingerly. But look at Steele. That car works so well in the bottom. Has to let it out a little.
Right in the center of the corner is where Tim's closing it up on Barfield. You can see as they go into the corners, they're just about equal. But right in the center, Tim can close it up 1 or 2 car lengths.
Barfield not being intimidated. Now Steele gets that move out of turn 2. Up, slides a little as he came out. Will it stick? It does. On his way, Tim Steele goes back in front. Barfield, the 2nd position. Rolling down pit road. Here's Billy Standridge coming in early. And Tim Steele has made it up. Come back from a 15 car length disadvantage. Showing 130 complete.
As a matter of fact, Mark Thompson's even closing in on Barfield.
That's the first time there was 129. Now it's at 130, 131 this time by. Looking a little further back in the field. Now here's that 56, and this has been a good fight all night long.
Yeah, between Dill Whittemore in the 56 car and Mark Gibson in the 59 car.
Mark Gibson had a great accounting for himself throughout this race. So you see right here, Harris Devane still staying in front of Perry Tripp. Back into turn number 1. I wonder if Tripp has anything left for Harris Devane. Cuthbert, Georgia driver in the Georgia Peanut Commission Ford. Those peanut growers are going to be happy about this one. Now take a look at Gibson again as he closes in. Takes another swipe at Dill Whittemore, the third. Comes up on the outside to give him a run this time. Whittemore holds him off once more.
We got a car spinning coming off the floor.
We got a spinner, but he's coming to the inside. And comes to a stop. I think this race is going to end under yellow. That looks like the 07. That lap car running way back. Frankie Spradlin loops it out of 4.
Mark Thompson's going underneath him, racing back to the yellow. And Mark Thompson did beat Ron Barfield back to the line for the yellow. That could be for second spot.
Gee, that was some run. That was that 66 again. The man out in front was Steele all the way through that. Tim Steele staying in front. Goes into the last lap. It's under caution to settle it all. Last lap being run out. White and yellow thrown down after we had a spinner that picks himself up and keeps running. Give the race to Tim Steele. He's going to win it. In the 200 here at Charlotte. First Plus Financial 200. Wow, do you believe that finish? Barfield getting caught right there on the end, huh? The 66 came down and nipped him at the line. Take another look at what happened as they came off that corner. There's the spinner. That's the 07 going up the track. Frankie Spradlin gets loose, ends up right down on the entry of pit road. And it took a while to get it cranked. Steele was on his way. The 66 was looking for any kind of an advantage, and he was able to shoot the gap, and it looks like Mark Thompson is going to get second spot. As Bill told you, Barfield will have to settle for third.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get a replay of the finish between Thompson and Barfield. I don't know if we do or not, but see how much you beat him by. But, you know, the rule is that unfortunately or unfortunately, you have to race back to the yellow because that's where all the scoring's done. And it's the way you have to score a race. So when the yellow comes out, you have to race back to the start-finish line. And we have a rule in ARCA, it's kind of a gentleman's rule, that you hold your position, but when you know the race is going to end under yellow, you got to go for it. And everybody knows that. So, I mean, Mark Thompson did what he was supposed to do, and I'd be upset if it was my driver and he didn't.
18th career win for Tim Steele, 11 of the 1996 campaign with 1 to go. He led 3 times, 65 laps out of 134, had Tim Steele's name on them. And his name now goes into victory lane as a winner at Charlotte.
One place, one day, one chance.
You get to Charlotte, and that's sort of a turning point at the end of the season. Charlotte's always important. It's a great race.
The pivotal event in the showdown for this year's championship.
We always go all out to win Charlotte. We always come to Charlotte to win.
Charlotte can make or break a Winston Cup season. One day, one event, one chance. Don't miss this epic showdown. Call today.
What does it take to get in shape and stay that way? If you think you need to go to a gym to lose weight, get in shape, and have a body like this, think again. This is Bowflex, a real workout at home that's so good, we guarantee results in 6 weeks or your money back. Think about it. You could get results like tighter abs, finer lines, a stronger chest, and more defined legs in only 6 weeks. It's not magic, it's Bowflex. All of the most effective exercises, plus a great aerobic rowing feature, ready for a quick workout whenever you are. Nothing could be easier. The results you want are only 6 weeks away. Don't think about it anymore. take action. Call us and ask for a free video and brochure on the machine that works like an entire gym, but fits anywhere in your home.
And Tim Steele back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where he's won yet another race, clinching the 1996 ARCA Championship. Tim, man, what a year, your 11th win.
Man, it's just been awesome. You know, I couldn't do it without these Ernie Elliott motors. He's just done an awesome job for us. It's great. You know, we go to the racetrack and we work on race cars, and we don't worry about changing motors or nothing. You know, it's just reliable and awesome power too. You know, and HS Dye, Simlink, everybody. I couldn't do it without any of them.
Tim, there at the very end, it looked like Ron Barfield got a great jump, but you ran him down. It didn't look like it was much of a problem.
I was a little concerned. You know, I thought we made a bad call by pitting when we did, but it all worked out for us. You know, I just had to try that much harder. I thought, man, I hope we didn't give it away, but it all worked great. I got to say hi to my wife and my daughter at home and everybody there. You know, this is great. You know, there was a good friend of ours died, a good friend of the family, and we're going to dedicate this one to Mert.
Okay, Tim, congratulations to your entire team. Let's go back to Ken Squire.
So Tim Steele, very popular driver, proves himself once again capable of handling about any place you put him to run. Here he is coming down. This was in that last lap as they're coming to a caution in white. Look at the 66, close on the 94, gets the nose down in front, and that's what made the difference for Mark Thompson. Excellent job by all three of these competitors as they came to the line here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway to decide the First Plus Financial 200. Unofficial results show Steele, Thompson, Barfield, the top three. Toby Butler for fourth, Harris Devane for fifth. Great to have you along, Bill Venturini. Hope you enjoyed it. We sure did.
Well, yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Catch up with you real soon. Better luck with your car next time, too.
Yeah, you can see Bobby Bowser had an 11th place finish.
Isn't that good? Yeah. Look at David Hall up to 17th position when it finished. Frog Hawks in 19th. That was and Matt Hutter got himself into 25th after all of that. For Dick Berggren and Steve Burns, Shauna Robinson, Bill Venturini, I'm Ken Squire here at Charlotte, where Tim Steele has proven himself to be the man of the hour for the 11th time in the 1996 ARCA campaign.